Nobody was doing that before I did it.
The Wilder thing happens.
You know we've been fighting 400 and still fighting to this day. To this day.
After the interview, within 24 hours, fight sold out.
The hate, Rihanna, Snoop Dogg, these people sending you hate.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Going forward, we've got obviously Jake Paul, AJ.
Inconceivable happens, like Jake Paul finds a way to win this fight. We are all going to have to quit boxing.
You've shot some Tupac videos, Snoop Dogg.
And at the time, it wasn't like I didn't know it was cool, but it's way cooler now.
Assessment on the Benn Vs Eubank fight, if we can just go back 2 weeks.
Those interviews that I did with Manny Pacquiao were bootlegged in the Philippines and in China like movies.
So you won't paddle to Misfits?
No.
Andrew Tate entering the fold.
What's his name?
Andrew Tate.
Yeah, you won't see me there, so I'm not involved in that.
You get drunk and then go and spar. When you see like a Jake fight Tyson, like how did you feel about that?
What Jake has been able to create is real big moments.
Right.
Radio Rahim here. You're watching the Shizzio show.
Corners better learn to drift. Porsches, Beamers, Skyline.
Evo boy, don't test me.
All these horses, someone tell me. How they gonna stop us if we got the drive? Beyond these streets, your tank reads empty. Too much power, someone tell me. How you gonna stop us if we got the drive? How you gonna stop us if we got the drive?
You wanna ride with me?
Drive.
You wanna ride with me?
Drive.
Okay, we are back, another episode. Love to everybody subscribing, hitting the likes. Finally, we got a bit of a, you know what I mean? Motherfuckers want to watch, but they don't want to subscribe, man. It's free, man. Help a brother out, you know what I'm saying? But it's cool, we get there. Real special guest in the building. Man has landed and asserted his dominance straight away, but we're going to get into all of this shit. I don't know what's going on, whether it's an American thing or what, but the legend, the man is a Radio Rahim, is in the building. Why so? Okay, bro, this is some dominance thing, because the way he's just done that, bro. Allow it, bro. How are you? See, again, bro.
Are we not men? Your hands are very soft, by the way. I'm not used to that.
We cool, bro. But you know you get them people that do it hard for no reason.
Was that hard or was that assertive? That was like,
assertive,
you know what I mean?
Cool. But you know you get them people that do it too hard.
Yeah, that's not me. I think that the tissue on your hands are a little bit soft. Maybe your life has been a little easier than most, and you're not used to this kind of energy, but it's all positive,
okay, but it's dominance, though. Because let me say...
There's a natural order of things.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't have anything to do with that.
Okay.
That's not me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, you do. Because you came here. Hold on. I mean? First things first. He came here and he's sitting. By the way, your screens are fine. It's not mirrored. He's come here and he's refusing to get off that chair, right? Which is just weird because that's where I sit, right? But you're asserting your dominance. Is this some chess move?
At the beginning of the show, which was just a few seconds ago, you introduced me as the legend. So let's just assume that that's a appropriate way to introduce me.
I stand by
that. That means that most of the people who are watching this will have seen at least one interview.
Oh,
at least one.
Standard.
I would ask for the audience of this incredible show, which I'm really honored to be on, to go back into their memory, if not their YouTube watch history, and see what side the legend, Radio Rahim, stands on in all of his interviews. And so when I came into the studio, which you were not sitting yet, it wasn't a thing like I asked him to get up, let's not be mad.
I did ask you to move, but he was like, no.
Well, yeah, that's crazy. Right. But I came in, 2 empty chairs. I naturally sat on the side of which I have created this legend that you've invited into the studio. And then, after the legend enters the studio and sits in his natural spot, not dominant or submissive, simply appropriate, the host comes in and has the temerity to ask this legend, who he's apparently seen interviews of, laundry list long, even to prepare for today.
Correct.
Knows the side that the legend stands on, and then comes in and asks him to move. Now listen, I'm just going to assume you hadn't done your homework in that regard, and it was a misunderstanding. And here we are, both in our comfort zones, but a little uncomfortable. And that's what makes for a good interview. Take it from the legend. This is a great start.
Okay, that's fine. But Just to have it right, is that really a thing for you? Like, are you? Or is that
100%?
It's got to be. But why is that? Is that just so your good side? Is that a force of habit?
You
What
know,
is
it's
it?
something that
Or-
developed
or
over
Are
time.
you just being an asshole?
Me, I mean,
I'm joking.
I haven't begun that part
Yeah,
yet.
yeah, it's coming.
This is the precursor.
Yeah, I
you
feel
know what I
you.
mean?
I
If
feel
you just don't push the horses.
I'm not.
That's all you got to do.
I'm just curious,
Let them frolic in the landscape of your show.
You are a guest, sir. In which case, no problem.
I'll tell you what. I spent 95 minutes getting here. The entire train ride, I sat on the right side of the train.
No, that's too,
And that
Nah, now you're going
was
too-
part of the
trolling.
sacrifice I made to get here. But do you know why? It wasn't like something that was a chore or something that weighed heavy on me. I was excited to
Right.
come here. This is
Absolutely.
Shizzio.
Come on, we
You know what
love
I mean?
that. We
like
love
I
that.
pulled up because I wanted to be on the show.
Come on,
but
bro.
95% of the reason I'm here is because I wanted to be on the show.
Very kind of you.
5% because I wanted to be on the right side.
Okay.
So let's just keep it 100.
Okay, but for argument's sake, if I'm Tyson Fury or I'm AJ and you got like 5 seconds to get in and take your interview, there's no way you're moving that shot. Surely, as kind of
No.
a broadcaster, you're gonna get. I'm pretty sure if I scour the internet, I will
No,
find.
you're absolutely right. But you know what else?
What?
If Tyson Fury or AJ comes into my studio and sits on the right side, I ain't gonna fucking bring it up.
Okay. So I shouldn't have brought it out.
You know what I mean?
Okay. All right, cool. Side note, you've come in Brixton Street. Shout out Brixton Street. I speak to them sometimes online. You've come in a fucking gi, like you came. Yo, man.
Yeah.
You come like you came for Kung Fu, looking for adventure. What the fuck is happening,
I
bro?
walked the earth alone,
I'm
like
telling
Kane
you.
in Kung Fu.
Yes.
And you know where I arrived today? At Shizzio Studios,
Yes.
the dojo.
But-
this is Brixton Street, where those are my guys.
Right.
This is a one of a one, custom-made gi for the streets.
Right.
I mean, I couldn't be more comfortable, and also I couldn't be more happy to shout them out, because right there in Brixton Village, they've got the brick and mortar now right on the corner when you walk into the village. They've sponsored me on different shows.
Big
they do
up.
pop-ups around the ends. Those guys are the guys. In fact, the owner has appeared in my documentary. I produced a documentary called Surviving South London.
Yes.
He told his story in that documentary. Riveting. I mean,
Yeah.
compelling stuff. So these guys, they really are part of the community. And so they gave me the gi, bro, and I'm out here ready for battle and to defend the Shizzio dojo.
This gi looks as tough as shit as well, by the way. It's like
It's legit.
It's not ripping anytime soon, bro.
Nah, we can do all forms of martial arts and get it, in the ends, we can get down with the dunnies.
So what? Are you like a martial artist then?
Nah.
No. So are you
But
worried about the persona you're putting out
only
there?
in discipline, I am like water.
But when you walk the streets
Yeah.
in the ends,
Yeah.
someone might test you, bro. They might test your gangster,
Yeah.
bro.
Let me tell you
what
what.
you gonna do?
I passed tests.
Crane
bro.
kick.
I passed tests. Because the thing about it is, I don't have any respect for any discipline when I'm in the roads.
Right.
It is like water. Whatever it takes to get the job done
Yeah.
is happening.
It looks fly
So
shit,
somebody might approach me, test me, think we're gonna box. You're sadly mistaken. I might hit you with a brick.
Right.
Somebody might see the gi and think that we're gonna do some jujitsu.
Right.
You're wrong. I'm gonna stab you.
So-
you know what I mean? Like I have no limits.
So you're just in the world of throwing curveballs, basically. Wherever you land, you just
Listen,
curveball,
man.
motherfucker, straight.
Listen,
Sit on the
I'm
right.
here for the best
Oh,
outcome.
By the way, there's a TV on in the background that's usually on. My man says, turn it off. I don't want to see nobody in the background.
I don't want to
It's
see nobody else, man. I gotta stay
assertiveness.
centrally focused on doing the best job I can do on this show.
Yo.
You can't present some crazy challenge
It's
to me
just there
behind
in
the
the back,
camera.
bruv.
There's no background. This is a spotlight. You know what I mean? When you're on stage and you're the focus, you're not looking what's happening in the third row.
Big
no,
fact.
no. I need your full attention.
I hear you.
That's what it. And I need to give you mine.
No, I appreciate it. Are you well, sir?
I am extraordinary.
Yes.
Honestly,
You've been in UK for how long now? What, 2 weeks? Like since you was there for the Benn Vs Eubank fight, right?
Nah, listen, I mean, if you want to look at a long lens of history, I've been in the UK over 10 years. So
Of
I
course.
come and go for all kind of
Yeah.
events, obviously. I go where boxing is, and a lot of boxing now is here in the UK, so I spend a lot more time here than I used to. Maybe in the last 3 years, it's exploded. Between here and Saudi Arabia,
Yeah.
it makes sense for me to be here as often as possible. And I still live in the States. I'm
Right.
an American, right? But the fights are here. The last fight that was here, in fact, wasn't Eubank Benn, although I did cover that. I just got back from Birmingham with
Whittaker.
Ben Whittaker.
Okay.
Just on the last Saturday.
Right.
You know, so that's why I'm still in town for that. And
Right.
I'll be going to Ghana from here.
Right.
So I'm not going to bother going back to the States in between because I'll be headed to Ghana in
You
just a
just
week's
everywhere.
time. Everywhere boxing is.
Assessment on the Benn and Eubank fight, if we could just go back 2 weeks.
I was satisfied with the first fight.
Right.
I thought that was just on every metric a fight that delivered. It was drama. The narrative was there. The fight itself delivered. There was pandemonium in Tottenham. It was everything you could ask for from that fight, and it shut down all the naysayers and over-delivered, really.
Yeah.
For my money, although I didn't pay for either fight,
Right. Of course you
that
did.
was enough to leave as a silo. That should have stood alone in history. Now, it's easy for me to say because I didn't lose the fight like Conor Benn did.
Yeah.
And I can understand that he's really wanting to get back in there and have another bite at that apple, which he ultimately did and was successful. I don't begrudge him that opportunity, nor the opportunity to create tens of millions of pounds for himself and his family, as did Eubank achieve the same goal. So sure, but the second fight, I think, anyone you ask, certainly anyone that experienced the first fight, will say the second fight fell short by all those same metrics.
Right.
It wasn't the buildup that we had in the first fight. The interest wasn't there in the streets. People weren't stopping me talking about it. The fight itself really didn't deliver entertainment value-wise. But if you look at them as two isolated events, neither one of them was a failure, but one measured to the other was certainly diminishing returns. I would have liked for that one to stand alone because you just can't say anything about it. There's nothing to detract from it. And maybe in some people's eyes, the second one detracted from the first. However, in the long lens of history, a few months from now, I don't think it'll very much matter. And that is a credit to where boxing is currently as a sport. There are so many massive fights, so many great narratives, so many matchups that we want happening back to back to back that you can't even get sullied for long. If you're disappointed in one fight, there's a next one coming right down the pike that's fantastic. On the Saturday, I was at Ben Whittaker.
Right.
Very one-sided, one round, big-time stoppage. You know, a statement that he's happy to make. But that wasn't the most entertaining fight even on the night, unless you just love knockouts, which you did get from Ben Whittaker.
Right.
But TKV and Frazier Clarke put on a fucking banger.
Yes.
I wasn't at it because you can only be at one place at one time. But, I mean, for boxing, man, now we're getting two fights, both satisfying. One a short first-round knockout from what could potentially be a superstar in the sport going forward. And two guys that may never really reach the elite level, top of the heavyweight division. However, the division's so impacted now that you can get a fucking cracking fight like that and still be incredibly satisfied with your value for dollar. It's the fight that you're more likely to be talking about today than Ben Whittaker being so one-sided.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I can't really remember since I've been covering boxing that there's been a time that has been quite this rich with entertainment and different fights and different weight divisions around the world where you can really engage and get exactly what is being promised. This is an awesome time to be in the sport.
Side note, do you think Benn and Eubank should have a third decider?
Absolutely not. I don't think they should have a second one. I'm definitely not in for the third.
Yeah, but now it's 1-1. Do you not think?
It's not really though, right? I think it's just finished.
Yeah.
Like what do you think is gonna come from a third fight, especially if all the structure of the fight is the same? If it is in fact due to a weight drain, if it is Eubank's age or too much wear on the tire. I think the audience is a bit tired of the narrative now, as shown by the lack of interest in the second fight. I think the metrics by which this fight has been promoted and agreed, that's going to wear thin. I don't want to see a drained Eubank with a rehydration clause. I don't want to see a Conor Benn 2 weight divisions above. All that stuff, we're tired of it. Like maybe if somehow Conor Benn goes down, gets himself a world title, and Eubank makes a resurgence, shows that he's still got some fight in him. Maybe 2-3 fights down the road, maybe, but that is a real stretch. Do we need to see a third one of these guys? Do I need to see it? I certainly don't, and I don't hear anybody calling for it.
My friend lives around the stadium, and they were giving out free tickets to residents. Is that a normal thing? Because I was like, is this a sign that this
Listen, if tickets are
they
selling...
were giving out free tickets. I thought, what the fuck?
If tickets are selling, you ain't giving them away.
Right, facts. Okay, for that. And as for Ben Whittaker, this kind of goading and all of that, the showmanship, where do you stand on that? Because very Prince Naseem-esque, who was the GOAT at it.
I asked him about that after the fight.
Right.
And, of course, this fight was very short, so there wasn't a lot of time.
It seemed to
for
be a
showboating.
tone down, I think.
However, I think the fight was short because he eliminated the nonsense that I don't find necessary or especially entertaining. I don't need to see you dancing or doing a twirl or punching behind your back or licking your tongue out. I'm there to watch you do the business.
Yeah.
Now, that's not true for everybody. To be fair, a lot of that antics is what separated him from the other guys who were starting their careers. It was the brand that made him somebody that people wanted to look at. We live in an age where you got to draw attention to yourself. He did that effectively. I don't begrudge him for that. But for me, that's not what I'm coming to a fight to see. I realize Prince Naseem, there's anomalies. There's exceptions to every rule. Clearly, Prince Naseem is a legend for that. That's something that really follows him for his legacy. However, if we're honest, that even wasn't sustainable, right? Like, when it was over.
Yeah.
And what I like is to see a guy with hardcore fundamentals that when the going gets tough, when the fights get gritty, when you start facing guys with equal talent that are serious about the game, that you can take your levels up and can sustain dominance. You can sustain staying in there. And if you can still do that and showboat, then you're Roy Jones Jr., possibly the best to ever do it. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying, though, in a fight like Saturday, I think he was better served to just get the work done. That was way more impressive to me than if he had taken 3 rounds to get the knockout and I had to sit through 6 minutes of him putting on a performance.
Some will say in this kind of social media age, this kind of fighters have no choice. They've got to do something to just get your attention and then do those type of things. Do you think that's the right thing?
No, of course they have a choice.
Like shock and awe. We need to get attention. We need to get bums on seats.
No, I've already prefaced my statement by saying that we are in an age where drawing attention to yourself has value. But do you have a choice? Certainly.
Right.
I think dominating your opponent, getting first round knockouts inside of 2 minutes and 15 seconds might get you even more attention. That highlight is all over social media. You don't need to have your tongue licked out or hit a guy behind the back, or, do a backflip to get that kind of attention. Get a solid knockout, and believe me, people will notice.
Also, a lot of backlash on his opponent. He's a taxi driver, he's this and that. He was not picked properly. Do you think they have a right to say those type of things? Or do you think he was a worthy...
He's 19-1.
Yeah.
Ben had only had 10 fights. That was his 11th.
Yeah.
Nobody's really going in tough on their 11th fight, like super tough, right? He's coming off, switching promoters. He's in a transitional phase. He's second time out with Andy Lee. This is expected. It wasn't a walkover guy. He walked over him, but it wasn't because the guy's a super bum. He had a decent record. I think that's appropriate for your 11th fight, especially given that your second time with a new trainer, new promoter. You want to make some noise. You're in your hometown. Get yourself a highlight knockout and do it in style. That's what he did. I mean, what do you want from the guy? Was he supposed to be in there with Beevil right now? Like, calm down. The guy's going to get there, and I'm happy to see him work through the gears.
And then changing to promoters, Eddie Hearn and all that, as far as I'm concerned, you go where the money is. Like, show me the money, I'm there. People are going, he shouldn't have done that. He should have kept loyalty. Where do you stand with loyalty and kind of gains?
I'm a loyal
career
guy.
gains.
I would love to live in a world where that really does pay dividends. The truth is, this is a business. There is nothing in this business that says you got to stay with a guy who's not delivering for you, which only you can determine. Now, what Ben, and I'm talking about Ben Whittaker now, may have felt that Ben Shalom wasn't delivering is entirely up to Ben Whittaker to determine. He's the guy whose career's on the line. He's the guy who is in there in the gym, toiling away, blood, sweat, and tears, putting his life on the line some Saturday night. And if he's not in the situation that he feels is most advantageous to him, who is anybody to say where he should stay or go?
Yeah.
And the truth be told, if the shoe's on the other foot and Ben Shalom had a decision to make whether or not it benefits Boxer and his business or whether it benefits Ben Whittaker, well, Ben Shalom is going to make the best decision for Ben Shalom and Boxer, as he should. He has other fighters in his stable. He's got to look after his own interests. So, yeah, I don't see anything treacherous. The contract was up, apparently, and he made a decision to make a move. That's what happens. Now, it's up to Matchroom to prove that he made the right choice.
Do you think he's the actual future Ben Whittaker? You think he's a future champion?
I mean, he certainly has the potential to be. I can't say that he is going to be. I like what I saw on Saturday night, but he's got a long way to go to compete, again, at the elite level, and he'd say as much. I don't think he is delusional. He doesn't think he's ready for the title holders at 175 by any stretch of the imagination, but he's on the road. Let's see what happens.
Do you find it hard to voice your opinion because you're opinionated? You obviously love the sport, but then and at one side, I guess you're trying to just keep a balance by interviewing people. And I don't know, where do you stand on that? Like, I need to keep a balance.
Nah. I don't have a problem voicing my opinion when asked. I have podcasts with Sean Zettel. We're on about that action.
Of course.
And if you want to hear my opinion, then watch me on a podcast. If you want to hear what the fighter has to say, watch me in an interview. I don't really argue with fighters or interject my opinion from left field. Now, if we're discussing an issue or a topic with a fighter and there's a back and forth where I need to challenge some truth or draw something out, sure, I'm happy to do that. But I really try my best, and maybe not successful 100% of the time, but it is my intention really to just get from the fighter the truth, a perspective, to maybe shine some light on things that may not otherwise be discussed. But I'm not in an interview to interject my opinion while a fighter's sitting there trying to express his truth. I just want to get it out of him.
Side note, you'd be texting me at 4, 5, 6 in the morning. What the fuck are you doing at 4, 5, 6 in the morning? Are you going to bed or are you waking up, bruv? Because you an early bird, bro.
It's all the same day, Shiz.
what do
That's
you-
what you have to understand.
Talk to me.
This time is just a social construct.
I hear
it's
you,
only
but-
3 o'clock because you believe that. You know what I mean? It's 4 p.m. for somebody else
Right.
because they believe that.
I
You know
hear
what
you.
it is?
What is
It's
it?
all the same day. We're just living in this
Yeah.
consistent,
But
it's
you-
like a flat circle of time. And once you stop locking and shackling yourself to that clock, you'll realize that you can get more out of these so-called days because you have a whole life to live, bro.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to let you know
No,
that at 3 in the morning, Shiz!
Yeah.
You're still alive, baby.
But what the-
You're
like,
still alive.
Do you have
Get
like
it
a
done.
Is that just jet lag or is that pattern? What is
No,
that?
you're lagging.
Wait,
I'm
I am
on the
lagging.
jet.
I am lagging,
You're
for
the
real.
jet stream.
I admit
and
it.
I'm jetting.
I admit
I'm
it.
trying to stop you from lagging.
I'm tired as shit, bro.
yeah,
You get me?
man.
But,
Nah,
like-
it's all in your head. You're not tired. You just think you are because you're supposed to be.
Okay, fair enough. Can we just take it back a bit where you were born and raised, sir? Because
Oakland, California.
Oakland, the West
West
Coast.
Coast, America.
Jeez,
Cali,
come
West
on.
Side.
West Side. Okay. Okay. Talk to me about Oakland growing up for those
Let me
that
tell you
don't.
something. I live in Oakland as a child and a teen. I went to school there. I was obviously born and raised there. My family's from there. And it is the kind of upbringing that I believe, I really couldn't get anyplace else. Now, people who live in New York, for instance, they have all these little tight boroughs. And so they kind of live in a melting pot community, and there's different communities based on where you're positioned in New York. Maybe that's something close to what you experience in the Bay Area.
Right.
But Oakland is right next door to Richmond, right next door to Berkeley, right next door to El Cerrito and Albany, and all these little cities that have their own little identities, and that's called the Bay Area.
Right.
So I'm an Oakland son, but I have family in Berkeley. I have family in Richmond. I went to school in all of these different cities, which was an unusual experience for a kid. Like a lot of kids go through a school system in one city. And so you have like the same kind of friends through school, give or take a few. But because I went to different school districts, I ended up with friends across the Bay Area. And that was an early experience in life on how to make friends quickly and also how to let some people go as you switch schools and you lose contact. It's something that I found later in life people have a really hard time doing. And for me, just by circumstance, I got that muscle strong early, and it served me well. I know people who have value and have staying power in my life. And as a kid, some friends you take with you, and some of them are still my friends today. And there's some friends I look back on fondly, but lost touch with because they weren't a part of the life that I was living going forward. So as I found friends all across the Bay Area, I also was exposed to different cultures, different class of people, different races and religions, and I was able to find a way to assimilate into different communities. And I've also carried that with me. And because in the Bay Area, unlike New York, at least my perception of what New York was like at the time, it wasn't quite as dangerous as some might consider New York to have been, or it wasn't so packed with people and like that. So we had a chance to express ourselves, I had an opportunity to ride public transportation. It really, now listen, Oakland at some points was the murder capital of America. So it's not like it was safe, but I was in a community that protected me. And I was able to freely be a child before people were super paranoid and trying to lock their kids up and monitor them 24/7. And that really gave me the confidence to approach anybody in any circumstance, feel value, feel worthy, and be able to hold my own in any room. That's a big part of being a journalist. You understand? That's a big part of speaking to people, like you mentioned Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua, who to some people may be bigger than life, and you're intimidated when you're in their presence, and all of a sudden you start stammering and forgetting what you would, and you can't deliver. That isn't an issue for me, and I think it's because my upbringing showed me that all types of people from any walk of life, however much money they have or what they've accomplished, at the core, they're human just like you. And if you can get at that human connection, you can hold your own with anybody, and you can learn from anybody, and they can learn from you. That's what I've done in this boxing journey as a journalist, and that has been what's enriched me more than anything. Just what I've learned from people, and being honest and open with the subjects that I'm interviewing, being vulnerable, allowing them to feel safe being vulnerable. And we've had some incredible moments with some iconic people.
You know, like from us, we're told like West Coast Oakland is like rough. We've told that narrative. Is it as rough as we've been told, or is it?
Certainly, in the pockets.
How much of that are you seeing growing up?
I'm not living
it?
in a dangerous community in the sense that, you know, like any big city. In Oakland, by some respects, is a big city. By others, maybe not. But there's East Oakland, North Oakland, West Oakland. You understand? And so in East Oakland, I would say there is a prevalence of violence, but it's also centered around not gangs like LA. It's just centered around kind of neighborhoods and what you're into. If you're into the sideshow cars and all, you want to be in the dope game and all that, you can do that. That could be your bag. You know what I mean? And if you get caught slipping in the wrong space, you can be in danger. West Oakland has a different kind of brand, if you will, for lack of a better word. That might be a little bit more dangerous for people just walking the streets, a regular kind of forgotten element of Oakland where it's its own little island, if you will. And if you don't belong there, or if you don't come from there, they spot you immediately. It's not the kind of place where you might just rock up to get a burger. Like, you don't go to West Oakland unless you got business in West Oakland.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I'm from North Oakland, and that's probably the least dangerous while still part of the murder capital of the entire city.
How far is the North from the South?
I mean, I don't know how far. What do you mean?
No, I'll tell you why. Because I lived in America, right? LA for a year, right? And it's so fucking vast, you can't comprehend it. As a British person, you
Los
cannot.
Angeles
Just
is.
the America in general.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
fair.
it's ridiculous. So that's why I'm saying, when you're saying North to South, to us, we might feel, it's probably fucking the whole country to us. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's so big.
That's
But
fair.
People can't grasp that concept. They think, oh yeah, America's just that. Oh, you've got states that are twice the size of this fucking country.
To your point, I would say that Oakland is kind of like London, right? Yeah, so I would say I'm in South London right now.
Right.
To get from West Oakland, let's say, to East Oakland would be like going from maybe Brixton to North Finchley.
Oh, that's all right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Because it's still a city, but
still,
you know.
But that's just a little jewel of like LA, of like Cali. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
we got
crazy.
mountains and we got, you know, I mean, we got a vast city that I still consider a small city.
Yeah.
But when you put it the way you put it,
I think
it's
from the
big for
valley to
England.
like, I think central LA. How long's that drive?
The valley to central, 35, 45 minutes. If there's no
Okay.
traffic now. But here's the thing. LA is probably as big as the whole of fucking England.
Yeah, because I was in LA once, and I told my mate I'd meet him, and he laughed at me because he said it was a 9-hour drive, and I said, "Are you fucking crazy?" Or 8-hour drive. I said, "Are you fucking mad?"
I
think, California. I don't know, bro.
Okay, well, California is the biggest.
That's
you know,
that's what I mean.
It's like
Right.
yeah. Look, you're not gonna understand the vast distance between places if all you've ever been in is England. Not that that's all the place you've been, but
Yeah.
if some people are trying to figure it
Right.
out in their minds, forget about it. You just gotta go.
But you're actively staying out of trouble, right?
Staying out of trouble
Yeah, you
as a
staying
kid.
yeah.
I'm not getting caught.
Okay. What does that mean?
So you're out of trouble.
Allegedly.
But you're playing
What
with
are you
it.
doing, Radio
You know what I mean?
Rahim?
I'm being
What type of
a
shit?
youth. I'm being, you
And
know
what
what I
does
mean?
that mean?
You know, I'm just doing
because an
just
American
enough.
youth is different
Doing
to a
just
British
enough.
youth.
You know, doing just enough not to get caught,
Okay, so
graduate
you have a line.
school. Yeah, of course, of
Okay.
course. And I have privilege. I'm not living hand to mouth. My parents aren't, destitute. They're not on drugs. Like, I got a happy home.
Right.
My mother looks after me. So the trouble I get into is like mischievous.
Okay.
It's not like
Your parents
felonies
strict?
and shit.
They beat that ass.
Yeah, for sure. They beat the ass early enough
For you
to
to
where
know.
by the time I could really get in trouble, I'm over being in trouble.
Right. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Do you think the youth of today need an ass whooping and a half?
I have more grace for the youth of today than some people.
Right.
Because I think the world that they're born into is so different from the one
Facts.
that I was born into that their whole life is fear-based. They are just living from one crisis to the next. They have far less confidence in what's real and what's fake because there's so much deception out here, and it's a vast just machine orchestrated to get your attention, to mislead you, to manipulate your emotions, and you're constantly battling that and then trying to find human connection in a world of digital machines. I didn't have to deal with any of that,
Yeah.
right? So I can't really fairly judge how they respond to that because it's difficult for me now, even getting off Instagram
Right.
or not spending 5 hours a day looking at my phone. And I'm a grown man. I got a full career. I got a life to live, and I'm still trapped in this device. So if
Yeah.
I never lived a time when this device didn't exist, I might be batshit crazy.
Are you from the era of pages and stuff?
You
Two ways.
I'm from the era where you could leave home and nobody could reach you until you got back home.
Yeah. Okay.
So
That era.
you know what I mean?
hear you. So in school, what did you want to be when you grew up? Did you have a vision, or you just?
I was always a talker. So the Radio Rahim, some people think comes from a film. It's not the case.
Right.
It really comes from me ringing up radio stations as a child and talking on the stations, recording my voice, talking to DJs.
How old are you here?
This is sixth grade, maybe.
What's sixth
maybe
grade?
Fifth, sixth grade. So that's like 10, 11 years old.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I had a real love for my own voice. So I never thought
can sense it.
I was going to be an athlete
Right.
competing, or I never, thought that I was going to be something where expressing myself, hearing my own voice, and using some kind of intellectual discourse would not be part of it. Part of it because my mother, when you talk about being strict, she was very strict about diction and articulation, vocabulary. When I spoke to her, I had to speak clearly. There was no no what, no mumbling. You
Yeah.
had to express your thoughts clearly, concisely, and articulately. So that, coupled with the fact that, I really just liked the sound of it, probably charted my course from early days.
I hear you. So you're ringing up radio stations, talking there, and recording it.
Yeah. And then I would play it back because, again, I come from an era where you don't grow up listening to your own voice and seeing yourself in your palm of your hand all fucking
Right,
day.
yeah.
So people who live in my youth would remember the first time they heard their own voice.
Yeah.
Now I think from a baby, your mother's taking video. You don't remember even hearing it for the first time. It's just a part of your life.
real.
But we, at some point, heard our voices played back for one reason or another.
Yeah.
And the first time I heard my voice played back, I was mortified. I was like, well, this can't be.
Right.
That's
It
not,
sounds
it
so
can't
different.
possibly
Yeah,
be
yeah.
what I sound
Everyone's
like.
like
This
that.
is fucking terrible. You know what I mean? So I started calling radio stations because those guys sounded cool.
Right.
And I began to figure out how my voice could sound cool.
Okay.
And so now I think I speak this way because I rewired my mind to create this sound. So I don't know anymore what I actually sound like. This might not be my natural voice.
Right.
This might be something
You
crafted.
do
over
project
many
a certain
years.
way,
But I can't undo it.
No, I hear that.
You know what I mean?
But I can understand where you this radio projection. I feel it. So from there, are you adamant that you want to be on radio then?
I'm just adamant that I could have been a lawyer.
Right.
I was watching TV shows where lawyers were
What you
standing
watching?
up giving
A Few
LA
Good Men.
Law,
Oh,
A
LA
Few
Law.
Good Men.
Yeah.
These shows where lawyers were able to
Right.
hold court literally
Sure.
and present cases and these long monologues. So I could see myself doing that. I just wanted to talk to people and be engaged in narratives and interesting conversations. And so it really never was in the beginning about sports, much less boxing. The first show I ever did was, I was 16 years old. It was my first radio show on a high school campus, the one I went to. And we had a radio station in the basement, thank God, which is how I ended up doing a broadcast. But that thing had 5-mile radius.
Right.
I don't know how many kilometers that is. You guys can do the math. But it's a
miles
it's a
over here. We
couple
don't
of
care about them.
it's a couple of cities that it hit.
Right.
And I wasn't doing sports at the time. I was doing after school an hour about, what a 16-year-old thinks is important.
Yeah.
And some headline news kind of stuff. I didn't really get into boxing until I got to LA, which is where I actually lived most of my life because I moved to LA at 18.
Right.
So when I got to Wildcard, Freddie Roach's Wildcard gym in Los Angeles, before Manny Pacquiao even got there, I began shooting sparring sessions for Freddie. And it was James Toney's kind of sunset of his career, but he was still, rule of the roost. And so fighters at that time really weren't watching tape of themselves in the gym. All this sparring footage and shit like this really wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
And so I would shoot it and sell the tapes to the fighters. I would cut together their sparring sessions,
Right.
$20, give me...
Where did you get the idea from?
Necessity. It just was something that wasn't happening. I marveled at the sparring. They didn't think of much of it.
Right.
Freddie recognized that there was some value in watching the tapes and showing the fighter what he was doing because fighters, they're in it and they don't ever get a chance to see it. And until this new era where everybody's got a phone and a camera, they would have to just watch the fights.
Yeah.
But they couldn't watch the training.
The training, yeah.
And that became a very valuable tool once they realized that looking at what you're doing from the outside can very much assist you when you're on the inside doing it again.
So you're a pioneer in kind of training techniques then?
I wouldn't say I'm a pioneer in
mean?
training techniques. I would say I'm a pioneer in broadcast media because what you're doing now, while this is a podcast, you understand that the way boxing news is driven online with people showing up with their cameras and doing interviews with fighters and going to training camps and all of that, I began. Nobody was doing that before I did it. Right. I went to boxing gyms, interviewed fighters, shot sparring sessions, like I said, started to go to fights, doing interviews with fighters in the locker room, doing interviews with them pre and post-fight. Sure, networks might have a little interaction with the fighter for the fight, but in between those fights, there was no internet media and there was no serious ongoing coverage of boxing on the major networks. They would focus on the fight that they might be broadcasting, but unlike football, basketball, baseball in America, there weren't just a ton of boxing shows that just kept you up to date. Maybe you would have one a week, maybe. But this ongoing narrative, once the internet became a thing, before even YouTube, it was just websites. I was on Max Boxing website. We were the first site to ever be dedicated to boxing. That's Doug Fisher, who's now the Ring Magazine editor-in-chief. That's Steve Kim, who worked for ESPN, no longer, but now he's on the 2 knockdown rule with Mario Lopez. And there's Radio Rahim, who's sitting here with you right now.
Come on!
And so we had a site that was the home of boxing news. And
First
over
ever
time,
site.
yeah, Max Boxing.
Yeah.
And so over time, I honed my skills interviewing fighters, creating footage of, for instance, Manny Pacquiao running the hills in Griffith Park and training in Wildcard Boxing Gym, doing interviews with him at a Vagabond Hotel. Literally, that's the name of the hotel and aptly named, right next door to the gym. Those interviews that I did with Manny Pacquiao were bootlegged in the Philippines and in China like movies. And so when I went to Macau to watch Pacquiao versus Brandon Rios, all these Chinese and Filipino fans were coming up and going crazy. And I'm like, how do they know me this well? Why are they this excited? And they were asking me to sign DVDs, but they were the writable DVDs. You might not even know what I'm talking about. But they
DVD R plus.
Yeah,
plus
that's
or minus.
That's it. And I'm like, what is this?
He definitely don't know, but go on. Yeah.
I had to ask, look at this. And what ultimately was happening is they were taking from the internet footage of Pacquiao training and my interviews, making DVDs because everybody in those countries don't have internet and they have DVD players. So I became famous in that region just because they were able to see their superstar in LA, and I was the face that was bringing it to them.
But then, what made you go down the boxing path? Because you're doing a radio show. What was
It's the sparring footage. I was gonna start directing. I worked on major motion pictures as a film loader, and I wanted to be a camera operator director. So a lot of directors in movies, they don't actually operate the camera. But that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be like Soderbergh, like one of these guys who's like not just saying this, and that, but like actually holding the camera. So I took my camera rig to Wildcard, where I spent most of my time when I wasn't working. I'm in the gym training. Not to be a fighter, but just because I loved the way boxing made me feel. I love the camaraderie of the guys in the gym. They know me. I'm a young kid. They're into it. So that's where I spend my time. You know, like some people spend their time on the corner or in a barbershop or whatever. The gym was a place for me.
Right.
So I took my camera rig down there and started shooting sparring sessions initially just to get my shadows down, live action. I think I'm about to just hone my skills as a camera operator. But because the footage that I was shooting had news value, and I started, like I said, interviewing fighters around a show called Gym Wars, which was me and Doug Fisher commentating sparring sessions and putting them on the internet as if you're watching Sky Sports or HBO in America and commentating sparring sessions like their marquee events. That's how it really all started. And then as the internet grew and people started to understand the far reaches of it, they started thinking they were reinventing the wheel or some shit and didn't want as much sparring footage out there. So I had to supplement some of the sparring footage that we could no longer get because guys were getting shy with interviews. I would do interviews before and after the sparring. I would do little stories with the guys that were in the gym. And that became interviews with fighters like you see a ton of every day now. I was the first one to do that and make it a thing. And that now is the way that most boxing news is consumed. That very structure lives on to this day.
Why don't you copyright that shit, man?
You can't copyright a passion. Also,
that's my shit,
it's a sport that belongs to everybody, but my mark on it is indelible. That is something that I pioneered. Yeah. And whether or not everybody doing it knows that, everybody doing it is really one of the proudest accomplishments of my life, knowing that I had something to do with why they do what they do. And there's so many people that are excellent at it now, but it's something that I put in the game.
The old school DV tapes?
That's exactly right.
Mini DV. Oh, shit. And you were editing your own work as well?
Exactly.
Are you putting in that graft? Okay, so you go in this boxing lane. You found your lane. And is it just more of the same? I want to grow this. You get into boxing. I'm just going to go.
It just took on
what
a life
happened to
of
the
its
lawyer stuff out?
Well, you have to go to law school for that,
So
right?
school-
So instead of going to law school, I went to LA.
Right.
So that was dead in the water
Substitute.
there. Yeah.
Are you like staying in school then? Or are you thinking this
No, I know. Listen, by the time I graduated, I already had 2 years on the radio.
Right.
I knew, LA is the place where you can live that media or television film dream, and I went there to sort it out.
So you're actively chasing that now. This is what I want to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Because there's hosting, which is in front of the camera, and then there's a radio where people don't necessarily see you.
Right, but right in that window, well, there's only those two lanes. All of a sudden, here comes the internet.
Right. So it's just
Where
that
there's
time.
a little bit of both,
Right.
right? So initially, I'm shooting sparring sessions. I'm behind the camera. You can't see me at all. I'm not even saying anything.
Yeah.
Then next thing you know, I'm starting to interview guys on camera before the sparring session. Then I'm off camera. Then you're looking at the sparring session. And then all of a sudden, it's on the internet and you're watching the sparring sessions, but hearing me, which you weren't doing before, not seeing me, but now my voice is on it. Well, now you're hearing me, watching the sparring, and now I'm doing an interview after the sparring session, not unlike what you would see on television. So now there's a little bit of everything. And I find my way and figure out what people are interested in seeing and how people want to consume this information. And here we are. Like it takes on a life of its own.
So kind of, where is your turning point where you think this could be something, like this could be something for me?
Today, when I got invited to
Obviously,
Shizzio, I
that's
was
standard.
like, this is the fucking moment.
But
Like
you're
I've
stating
been
the obvious.
working towards this.
Forget Joe Rogan.
This entire time.
Joe, we love you, but do you know what I
But come
mean?
on. You know what I mean? He never let me sit on this side.
This is
and that's how I
gravy.
know that I've finally made it.
But that's normal. But that's basic. That's common knowledge. I'm talking about.
No, it's common knowledge for you because you're the guy.
No, but
but
people
me
know that.
now,
Okay, but
sitting
now you
with
know.
the guy,
Yeah.
is like, now maybe I could be the
Okay,
guy.
but prior to that, then your second moment, because this is the first. Where is it where you start to feel like, yo, this could be a career for me? Like I'm doing it because I'm guessing you're kind of freelance, right?
Boxing's not a career for me. It is a lifestyle.
Right.
I wasn't chasing a career when I started shooting sparring sessions. I was doing something else.
Right.
I'm still doing something else. Like right now, I'm still chasing that lawyer dream. I just haven't gone to law school yet.
Right.
Michelle Joy Phelps went to law school, right? She's gonna be a
She's
lawyer
going
soon.
now, yeah.
Kim Kardashian may pass the bar one day.
Right.
She'll be a lawyer soon, and maybe one day I'll get around to law school.
Right.
But right now, I'm just trying to, live until that dream actually becomes a reality.
All right, so when you're posting these videos, I'll take it you're not earning much money.
Then?
Yeah.
No, I mean, for the time when you're fucking 20, 21, you don't need a lot of money.
I hear you.
And you're doing something that you're passionate about. So I'm selling the tapes back to the fighters, $20 a pop. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not the only thing I'm doing.
Okay.
I'm working on major motion pictures, man. So
Okay.
I'm doing like
What
film
films?
loading on films. I'm shooting music videos, which at the time had $1 million budgets.
Which ones
I'm
you shooting?
Like Death Row, Aftermath videos.
Oh, swear.
Like
are
Eddie
you
Murphy
shooting?
movies. You know what I mean? Like these are major productions, and I'm making a living doing that as well. And this boxing thing is like a passion. But again, it's the one thing that just continued to be present in my life and demanding.
Right.
It was like I had to go get jobs in film and television. I had to chase those things, and they were satisfying because it was big deal stuff. It's bigger now because the stuff that I worked on then, it just seemed natural because it was the environment I'm in. Now I look back and these are like iconic shits, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
at the time, like anything else, you're just in it doing it.
Yeah.
This is in my heart. These people are like my people. Like I'm not the Hollywood people, actors and shit like that. Certain ones, obviously, I have great friendships with, but that kind of society, probably not my real people. The fucking knuckle dragging lugs that you meet in the gym, we in front of the camera, the presenters who really are just absolutely enthralled with pugilism and want to talk about fights and combat all the time. Those are my people. And so I continue to gravitate back to them.
I presume working with Death Row, Suge Knight is not your type of people then.
No,
Are you working with Suge?
When we
mean-
were at Death Row, I left Death Row with Dr. Dre, right? So he started Aftermath.
Okay, so you know these guys.
I knew these guys.
Right. So what videos you filming?
I mean, what was going
Tell
on
me,
at
tell
Death
me
Row?
what
Tell
videos.
me.
No, because I'm like a West Coast fan. Like Death Row
Yeah,
is my
so
shit.
we're talking about Dog Pound, Tupac, Snoop, these
So
videos.
you know, yeah, come on. Give me some West Coast stories, bro.
No, see,
Snoop.
part of it, which you wouldn't know this, but part of it is they're not my stories to tell.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not here to waffle on
but
about
like
other
you met
people's
Tupac.
lives.
You've shot some Tupac videos. Snoop Dogg. That's amazing, bro.
It is. And at the time, it wasn't like I didn't know it was cool, but it's way cooler now because of what they are
Right.
in culture.
But what
at
like
the-
videos did you shoot?
Like my first video was How Do You Want It, right?
Oh shit, Casey and JoJo, yo, don't gas me, fuck the boxing, yo.
So that's the
That's
first video that
mad.
I had some creative influence on. But What Would You Do was the first time I was on like a video set. Now that's the Dog Pound,
Right.
Right. So at that time, you got to understand there are tons of videos being shot. Like every time an artist comes out with a single, you have to have a video accompanying
the
it.
budget's
and
mad.
the budgets are mad, and the interest in these videos are they're as big as any TV show or what. It's like people are waiting to see the video of a song.
Yeah.
So that's a whole industry unto itself.
Right.
And it was a community that I'm in, so I was working there.
Was it hard working with Suge Knight? Because you know you heard the stories.
Yeah, but
you know
he's
you
not.
heard
But let me not.
Did he dang you over a
mislead
balcony?
you? It's not like I'm working with Suge Knight.
Right.
Suge Knight is running the record label.
Right.
And I am working with the artists on the set of the videos that are being shot.
That's cool though.
Now, I may be in environments where Suge Knight is present because I might hang with these guys sometimes, but it's not like Suge Knight gives a fuck what Radio Rahim is doing on a day-to-day basis, or I'm belling him up and we're like hitting the club together. But the artists that are coming up at the time, that is more the people that I'm in contact with and working directly with.
I don't need stories, but did you see some wild shit at Death Row? You must have. Come on.
I've seen some wild
It's
shit
infamous.
all through my life, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you can't, I've seen some wild shit in boxing.
Right.
You cannot be at the highest level of anything
Right.
and not see wild shit because there's wild people up there. You
Yeah.
can't really get to the upper echelons of anything without having a wild side. That doesn't mean you got to be freaky and weird and shit like this, but you got to have a different kind of perspective on life, a passion for something that really doesn't make sense practically. You got to be willing to take risks really with your livelihood and future to do something that statistically is unwise.
Yeah.
And if you reach the top of a industry like that, we're gonna meet some fucking weirdos.
You leave when Dre leaves. Why is that? Is that just because everyone's leaving?
Well, because there's this cliquish, right? Like either you're more close
You have to pick your-
the Dre community and what he's about, and you want to, you don't want to be left to this company where he's gone, or you're more on the other side. And you're like, nah, this is the environment I like, this is the vibe I'm with, and this is where I think I'm gonna thrive, and you stay on that side. Wow. So at some point, when there's a fork in the road, you gotta figure which way you're going. And for me, it was a no-brainer.
So at what junction do you think, right, I'm stopping all of this music shit, I'm just going to focus on boxing? This is where it's at.
I don't know that I made that decision so clearly. It's just one thing continued to grab my attention and be more about me.
Right.
What I'm doing in music is about other people.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm far more invisible. I am in a way in boxing, even though I'm interviewing someone else, there's an art form in it for me where I'm also getting some of that shine.
Right.
Like I'm performing in a way
Right.
that creates some entity between the two of us. In boxing, in music, I'm creative, but there's really only one performer.
Right.
And that's the musician, the artist. And I'm very much behind the scenes where I have a relationship with them, but none of that shine really comes to me. And if I'm honest, I enjoyed being in front of the camera. I enjoyed creating moments myself and working with whomever I'm interviewing or creating a show like Gym Wars and having that much of it down to me.
So in your earlier stages, what are your biggest interviews then, or your biggest moments in boxing?
There are a few, to be fair. Obviously, I've been doing this a long time. I would say things that stand out to me.
Yeah.
Maybe Victor Ortiz and Floyd Mayweather. You'll remember that famous fight where, some people call it a sucker punch, a cheap shot.
Oh, well, yeah.
They was hugging, and then,
But then he
Floyd
headbutted
knocked
him
him
first,
out,
didn't
which is what started the whole bullshit, right?
Right.
So to your point, he headbutted him first. Well, after that fight, I interviewed, not immediately after, but sometime after, I interviewed Victor Ortiz, and he admitted in the interview, because I pressed him a little bit, that he was trying to break Floyd Mayweather's nose with the headbutt. Now, he had never admitted that the headbutt was intentional or that he had any intention behind it. But that was the first time he admitted that it was an intentional headbutt and he was targeting Mayweather's nose to break it.
Right.
The California Boxing Commission fined him for that, suspended his license, brought him before the commission to answer for it, played my interview in the hearing, and he ended up paying $100,000 and getting suspended. And that was like the first time I realized like this has major serious impact.
Right.
My interviews are seen by the boxing world, officials, fighters, and fans alike, and it matters. I wasn't trying to trap him or trying to get him in trouble. I was just trying to get at the truth.
Right.
Well, he told on himself.
Right.
I don't know what his intentions are. Only he could say that.
Right.
But my job was to get at the truth. My job was to get at something that was uncomfortable and get some clarity on it. Because everybody that was watching was like, what exactly was going on there?
Yeah.
And he said it. And it was also another lesson because he blamed me for it. Well, I'm asking the questions. You did the thing. You said the thing, but it's my fault. And then that is something that has been true from then on. Like fighters, promoters, whatever, will happily blame the journalist for exposing the truth while not acknowledging that the truth is the truth.
Right.
And if you get it out, it's not the journalist's fault. Right. It's the fact that this is true. And the fighter said the truth. Or the journalist exposed the story. And then you want to ban the journalist. You want to not do interviews with the interviewer because you've said something that you wish you hadn't said.
Right.
That is a game that you have to learn how to play. But I've been one to just get at it and deal with the consequences. It certainly hasn't always worked out in my favor. I've been banned from just about every promoter at least once. They've had to have me back. But I've had to fight throughout my career to stay getting access and to continue to be honest and being able to get the truth out of any story or any fighter.
When you get banned, how is it to unban yourself?
It depends
are
on
you just like fuck you, or do you just...
No, of course not. I can't be. This is what I do. So
Right.
they know the leverage that a ban has. Like, it stops you from being able to do the thing you do, which
Right.
is why it carries so much fear, and why I think now so many people who would call themselves journalists aren't really doing journalism. They're just really like mini promoters. They want to ask questions that are welcomed.
Right.
They want to give headlines that, while sensational, aren't going to get them in trouble.
Yeah.
They know what the company line is. They don't say the impolitic thing. And we all have to play that game to some extent. I'm not suggesting that I just say wild shit or anything. No, I have to be very careful about how I present things and be very fair. And you got to recognize that there are powers that be that can shut you down completely. Whether that be fair or not, there really isn't a recourse for a lot of journalists. If powers that be say you're out, you're out. You're going to have to write from the outside, or you're going to have to try to get access outside of fight week, which is very difficult to do. So it's a tough game, man. But if you're going to respect the field of journalism, you got to play it.
But when you're let back in, then are you then apprehensive of the questions you got to ask, or you just I'm going to still do?
No, I mean, every case is different, right? But essentially, the job's still the job.
Right.
And sometimes you just got to take the knocks.
If they say to you, right, you can come back in. However, these are the questions you can ask. You can't ask those.
Well, that's a deal you can't make. And to be fair, no one's actually ever said that.
Right.
You know what I mean? They put you out for a while. They shun you. You got to fight your way back in. And there was a time when the audience, the fans, the people who consume your content would get at your back and make it an embarrassment for a promoter to ban you.
Right.
Or demand that you get in there and make it so that fighters are like, hey, I don't want to shun this. I don't mind talking to this guy. Why are you forcing him out? That was a big part of how you could stay in the game, that your fan base would support you and go after people who are trying to ban you. That's not true anymore now. Like, now the climate on the internet is just like, kick a guy when he's down. If somebody gets blocked or shunned, the fans want to pile on. They don't really, like they used to, appreciate, I think, what journalists do for them and how difficult it is to toe a real line when it comes to asking tough questions or making an uncomfortable story, giving it light. So a lot of people don't do it as much or at all because it's tough out there on your own.
But then you've got heritage, though. You've got your OG now, so surely that's got to count for something.
It does help.
It's got to help. Like,
but I appreciate why a lot of younger guys don't do it, or younger women don't do it, because there are repercussions and they don't have that kind of leverage. And even I'm an OG, I'm a whatever. I'm still very vulnerable to the powers that be, and I have to be aware of that.
Okay, so the Floyd one's a big one. What else is a big one? Obviously, do you know what? I'm drawing a line at Wilder because that's a fucking mammoth. That's like
right. There's no point
gargantuan.
even mentioning that because obviously that is by far the biggest single clip of my career.
Prior to that,
right. So I'm giving you prior to that, right? There's that one. I would say a variety of Manny Pacquiao clips because there was so much attention on him. So when he and Amir Khan sparred at Wild Card, which millions of people have seen, I shot that footage. Right. So that's one of the big ones.
Right.
There's just moments like that some, like the Victor Ortiz thing, I'm on camera, I know everybody knows that's me. But other footage, like sparring sessions between Khan and Pacquiao, you don't know that I shot that, but I do. So every time I see it, I know that that's kind of like an iconic thing.
Do you think that fight should have happened, Khan?
Of course. Amir Mayweather should have happened, and Amir Pacquiao should have happened.
Who was your money on?
What do you mean?
If they fought?
I don't know, because we can win, what weight. There's a whole bunch of kind of shit that we just don't know anymore. I don't even remember what the hell. But at some point, I would have liked to see those fights.
Right. And here, are you kind of freelancing this still? You're putting it out?
I'm at Seconds Out. Like, it's not freelance. Right. I've had this, I've been, Max Boxing and Seconds Out merged.
Right.
Over a decade ago, maybe almost 15 years ago. But for me, I've essentially been in the same company. And like I said, we started Max Boxing together, me, Doug Fisher, and Steve Kim. Really, it became what it became. They went their own ways, left it to me. Then I joined on to Seconds Out. So I've been in the same house.
But do you own part of Seconds Out, or you just...
Yeah, I am Seconds Out. I'm not Seconds Out, but Max Boxing, which joined on to Seconds Out.
So how much of Seconds Out is yours?
What's that?
How much of it is
So
yours?
Seconds Out is a collaboration. It's like a partnership.
Right.
And it's under an umbrella of Knockout Entertainment, which has other channels.
Right.
So, it's a big machine. And what I bring to it is Max Boxing and Radio Rahim.
And kind of money-wise, does it pay you well with all these views coming in? Is it?
I barely had enough money to get here on the train.
Why? Come on,
It's a
bro.
tough business, man.
Yeah, but bro, you walk the street like came from Kung Fu. But
That's right. But you remember what
it's
came
like-
from Kung Fu?
It's like
There's
an episode
no
of The
pockets in
Warriors.
this gi.
It's like an episode of The Warriors. You got to do that shit.
Have you seen The Warriors?
Yeah, I've seen that
See
shit.
what I
You
mean?
see some motherfuckers on roller skates? That's you, bro.
You've got to be willing
Do you get-
to live off the land and eat what you kill.
But you got that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But on the way home, maybe I see a deer and that's just deer meat for dinner.
I'm gonna feed you.
know
Don't
what I mean?
worry. I'm gonna feed you. Don't worry. Okay, cool. And then I guess the Wilder thing happens. I know you've spoken about it before, but can we just get some something? Do you know what I mean?
What do you think about it?
Are you bored of talking about that? Do you think that's overshadowed your career?
I don't think overshadowed. It is no. It's a
No, because
fine
it's
part
so
of the
big.
career.
It's so big.
Yeah, but so am I.
Absolutely. You came from Kung Fu. Damn it.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm, but I'm just.
I defend my
I
dojo.
actually think you could fuck up Chuck Norris. I actually think that.
Well, I was trained.
But that's
I
what
was
I'm saying.
trained by the master. I mean, if Bruce fucked him up, well, then
Yeah.
why not me?
Exactly.
You know,
Okay, so
the truth of it is that your audience will have heard this story before, and I'm
Yeah.
not sunning you, but on
No,
bigger
no.
shows,
I know.
this has been discussed to
a T.
extent.
Yeah.
But what we don't know is what you thought about it. Not now while I'm sitting in front of you,
Okay.
but at the time.
epic, viral, amazing. You got the most out of him. He's fired up. It's I suppose in regards to interview, the best thing you can get. You probably single-handedly sold the fucking fight out. Do you know what I'm saying? Obviously, in the UK, we know about Tyson Fury, but I'm thinking on a global scale. I don't think Wilder was that big as a global.
Right.
Respectfully, I don't know about what Americans thought of him, but there was a whole thing going on. But because the UK was where it's at, do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that interview is probably their fucking dream, the promoter's dream. That's a wet dream for them.
You're accurate.
I
You're
know.
accurate in your assessment. The fight was not sold out.
Right.
Probably 20,000 tickets or something. After the interview,
Right.
within 24 hours, fight sold out. The fact that it's a global fight because Tyson Fury is in it,
Yeah.
and Tyson Fury said something that triggered Wilder, saying that his people have been fighting for 400 years, which is my people being Tyson Fury have been fighting, he said, 200 years. But he
Right.
was talking about literally Furies
Right.
boxing, like, bare knuckle boxing.
Right.
Obviously, Wilder, not understanding what Fury's referencing, talks about slavery in America and that fight for justice that has
Yes.
taken 400 years and to this day.
Right.
And so I understood that they were talking past each other, which was the catalyst for the question.
Right.
While Wilder thought that I was pretending as if I didn't know what the context was, which in fact I was trying to get him to express the context for the UK and global audience that don't hear 400 years and immediately think of the plight of black Americans
Yeah.
through slavery, Jim Crow, and to the modern day. I thought he would express that, but he turned it on me, which what I wanted to get him to do, no matter how articulate he would have been maybe if he understood the moment, would have been nearly as impactful as what he actually did. So my goal was overachieved. What I was hoping that question would glean from him became much bigger than the answer I was seeking.
Yeah.
So while, yes, I was the target of the anger and a lot of people also misunderstood my motives
gonna
and
talk about-
was
yeah.
attacked for that, ultimately, it's all worth it because it shone a very bright light on exactly what I wanted people to look into. And they still are looking into it because of that clip to this day.
Is it to this day or till this day? Because I'm fed up. Tell me.
TIL apostrophe
It's that.
this day.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
And then is it kind of annoying because you've essentially made people millions of dollars because of one interview and you probably didn't get none of that? Do you know what I'm
Can I
saying?
tell you, I've made people millions of dollars over the course of my entire life. And it's not that I don't get any of it, but it's
like a
part of the
local cut.
job to ingratiate others with what they've done and built to be able to facilitate an understanding of that increases their value.
But you're helping the building process, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Do you get what I mean?
I understand fully what you mean. I barely had enough money to get here on the tube.
I got you on the way back.
You know, one day,
But
maybe
do
all
you
this will
think
pay off.
because from that, I think he had his own little pop-up shop
He
merchandise.
had merch and all this stuff. Did I ever seek a trademark or challenge for?
But
no.
would you not
Did he ever
expect-
offer?
That's the bit that gets me, bro.
That's the bit.
You get a little phone call like, bro, here's a little half a mil.
Little
What-
something,
a
right?
little-
Would have helped,
right?
right?
Do you not think
Maybe I could get a
Ethically.
a kebab on the way home, but no. Now I gotta hunt deer.
ethically, no, you just, yeah, okay, fair
I
enough.
mean, ethics are down to him. I'm not coming with my hand out. Some
Sure.
people, again, maybe it's down to me. Maybe I'm a fool, but I will create my own opportunities and I will get what is rightfully mine. And if it requires generosity for someone else that isn't extended, then I find, and I'm a God-fearing man, that what is mine will come my way in whatever delivery system God sees fit. And we'll see if I'm right in the long run.
But then the backlash you got from that was enormous.
Enormous.
So it's like you're in the target line, he's making millions,
Yep.
and you're the fool guy. Do you get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's
Does that
accurate.
make sense?
Yeah.
And you're getting rinsed by a lot of people. How is that being public enemy number one? Because at least for 24 hours, you are public. The target.
Longer than that.
That's what I'm saying.
But it gives you some
looking
resolve.
at the internet must have been fuck, you know.
You got to be calm.
The
You got
hate.
to remember the difference between reality and perception.
And are you doing
You
that?
got to wait it out. That's, actively doing that and allowing myself to learn these lessons in real time. And I'm proud of how I responded. I didn't freak out. I didn't go with some apology tour. Like, I'm not sorry. Like, none of those things that people may have thought I should do, did I do. Because I stayed true to what was real about the moment and allowed it to play out. I'm also clearly not afraid of anybody. Like, I'm standing there nose to nose with Wilder, so I'm not worried about some keyboard warriors. It is what it is. And so
That could potentially send you
ultimately,
over the edge,
though,
Con.
it did bring value because it gave me a awareness in the world. It gave me a moment that is absolutely iconic and viral, and people who may otherwise not have known about my work became aware of it. And ultimately, I think the story got out. The story for most people is clear now, and what was happening and the dynamic and what my intentions were. All of that took time, but it did elevate me. It did make me a bigger star. It did give me a calling card that people know. It's a thing that, is etched in the history of boxing. So I'm not mad that it happened. I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
But that could send someone over the edge, couldn't it? Like,
What do you mean?
The hate, like if you were that way inclined.
Oh,
that
yeah,
could
sure.
do you know what
It's
I
a
mean?
lot of pressure.
That could put a whirlwind depression. Thank God you're
yeah.
kind of stronger minded. But if you wasn't that way inclined, you could be fucked right now.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And then the hate, Rihanna, Snoop Dogg,
Mm.
these people sending you hate.
Wild.
Did you not want to ring Snoop?
Rihanna in particular, that was the tough one. You know what I mean?
Like,
because I was like, we really never got the relationship started. In the
started on the wrong foot.
It's a tough way to start.
that's a bad,
You know what I mean?
yeah. That's an uphill battle.
Yeah.
And then Snoop, did you not shoot videos? Did you not want to say, yo,
Yeah.
Snoop, it's me?
Yeah, right.
I'll show your motherfucking videos.
Yeah, and I've seen him subsequently, and you're right. I kind of scoffed at that because Snoop gets a lot of things wrong, and it's just like, you got to give him some grace.
Yeah.
He'll come to it. He'll find it in his time. But when you start to mess with my love life, when you start to mess with who at the time might have been my soulmate,
That was, yeah.
that really is something irreparable damage. Something
Yeah.
that could have changed the trajectory of my entire life, and now she'll never know what she missed.
She,
You understand? Like,
she
it's a
missed lot.
tragedy for both of us,
She could
really.
be with you in a gi right now, going
Listen.
through the subways. You know what I mean?
Listen,
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
it's raining outside, and we could be under the same umbrella.
Jesus. Ella, eh. Okay, cool. So from there, obviously, that amplifies your career, doesn't it, afterwards? Do you see a kind of increment in you, like we need Radio Rahim here, we need here? Like, do you
No, there's
you
some
get that?
demand. The interesting thing is I actually own the clip, right? So
Right.
when people want to run
you
that
monetize that.
clip, they got to come to me or technically seconds out for permission.
Right.
And so that gave me a little bit of leverage to make a little coin. Not a lot of money.
Come on, it must
but
have
a
made
little
some.
bit. I mean, a little bit.
Roughly.
But nah, there's
No?
not, it's not the
How many
kind,
views
it's
does
not
that
like
have?
life-changing.
Totally.
I don't even know. But also don't forget, it's my clip, but because I did it in what we call a scrum, it wasn't a one-on-one. So part of the reason it was so massive is because it was such a spectacle that every camera in the building turned on it.
Right.
So there's tons of different
Angles.
videos and angles, none of which are as iconic as mine, but they're out there. So that just helped it spread like wildfire. And then when he shrunk the clip down to a minute,
And took
that
out
just
the
made
input.
him look the way he wanted to look.
Yeah.
And put that on Instagram. That, of course, went viral in its own right. So some people still have never seen like the full 2.5 minutes and think that 1 minute is the whole interaction.
Yeah.
So it had all the trappings of a viral moment and one that would mislead a lot of people into thinking something out of context.
If you had to estimate how many views, where would you put it at?
I mean, it's clearly tens of millions. Like, if you talk about how many people have seen it,
100 million.
I mean, I don't know. But enough where at some point every single day since someone somewhere has shouted till this day. At me personally, in real life.
Is that your name?
So
now?
however many times you need to be viewed for that to happen, it's been viewed that many times.
Is that annoying for you? Or is that like, yeah?
Nah, it's just like an homage. It's,
Yeah.
I see it as, wow, I've impacted yet another person. Like, that is something that they carry with them because it's something that I did.
Yeah. And then the Fury and Wilder trilogy, how did you see all that? Because there was like talk of him, like when he was saying that, oh, he's cheating and that, his gloves and all.
I got no comment on that. The third fight was one of the best heavyweight boxing matches ever.
Is that when he stood up?
No, that's
that
the first fight.
okay,
the third fight, 5 knockdowns, could have went either way at any point.
Yeah.
And I think it took something out of both of them. Neither one of them have been the same since.
Right.
And I was the best fight in the heavyweight division that I've ever been ringside for my entire career. That was the best heavyweight fight ever. So that answers one of your previous questions.
Yeah.
And it may be it is one of the best ever that have ever happened, but it's definitely the best I've ever been out for a heavyweight bout.
And just to go back, the viral clip of the Wilder, that's the most viewed kind of boxing interview ever, would you say? It's like one of the most viewed clips.
Maybe. I don't know. That's not for me to say. I don't really follow the metrics, so I don't know. But for me,
it's
it
up
is.
there. But how is that when, like, I don't know, you look at like Muhammad Ali interviews and all of that, but the Wilder one is in that mix somewhere.
Sure.
Do you get what, like,
yeah, no, I don't.
That's no joke.
I'm not arguing with you. I just can't say that I've gone through the trouble of trying to compare it to other clips.
Okay, cool. So then going forward, you're just in the mix, and then is like the holy grail the interview post-fight in the ring? Is that what you would consider the kind of top of the Everest? Do you get what? I don't know, because a lot of...
Nah, I've done that. I would do it again. I also think that novelty doesn't mean quite what it used to because you're such a network player now. Like, even the guy in that role is so restrained from where you can take that interview.
Right.
And so I say now, as many podcasts as there are and as many people have voices, and I don't think there can be too many. I'm happy for everybody to have their say.
Yeah.
I think now it's time for me to offer perspective independently. Like, I don't necessarily need a fighter standing next to me to talk boxing, and at least the way I see it. So the thing I'm having the most fun doing is with Sean Zettel. We got a show called About That Action.
Right.
And we get on, talk our shit about boxing. We're starting to bring on guests. Our first guest was Bill Haney. We had a great time with him. But post-fight, we do an analysis. And early in the fight week, we do a pre-fight show and talk about what's upcoming. And it gives me an opportunity to just offer my perspective in boxing. And the one guy that I actually like talking to and have known for a couple of decades, that is Sean Zettel, who is staunchly rooted in America. He really doesn't travel outside the States. He lives in Vegas. He's in the thick of it, has been for many, many years. And we have a great rapport and chemistry, and respect each other. He's an X and O kind of guy, presents himself and his perspective well, backs it up with statistics, and gives his thinking on how he arrives at predictions. We're very different, but I enjoy the back and forth and the dynamic. So that's what I'm enjoying most right now. And I think it's what I am happy to be offering that I haven't been offering prior to that show.
Is that on a separate channel? Or is that on?
It's on Sean Zettel's channel.
Right. And then how do you find time to film that? Because you're everywhere.
You make time for the things you love.
But how do you make time? You've been there for how long? 2-3 weeks?
in this
like-
building. Yeah, it feels like this interview's gone on for
That's
2 or 3
fucking
weeks.
your fault. It ain't
That's
fucking
fair.
mine, bro. This man's actually like, I've been talking this shit. But it's like, how kind of often is the episode? Is there pressure to
When
keep that?
necessary, we get an episode or 2 in a week. Like, it depends on what's happening in boxing. So
Right.
at least once,
Right.
but sometimes 3 times, depending on, you know, some breaking news might happen. We're like, oh, we got to get on. We got to get it on. And we do that. So at least once, but it can be as many times as necessary.
And then kind of the circle of presenters or interviewers or whatever you want to call it, Michelle, Joy Phelps, Coogan, how is that? Like, are you guys competing with these guys respectfully to get the interview, or do you get what I'm saying?
There's definitely competition, obviously. And there is something to be said for everybody having their own style, their own relationships with fighters, and fans liking to hear how Coogan host does an interview, or
Yeah.
they may prefer the way I present. It just depends on what you like. And I think a lot of fans like the variety. They'll listen to a bit of Coogan, listen to a bit of me, Michelle, whomever else they like. You just dabble about who's got the headline or what you want to hear. So yeah, there's absolutely competition. It's like anything else. We all want to be top dog. We all want to have the most views. We want to have the best content. But ultimately, I think there's a mutual respect. We'll work well together, and everybody knows what the game is. Nobody's like, you know, trying to undercut anybody. You're just trying to be the best at it that you can be.
Me like Cheryl has been here. She's been a a lovely lady. Her schedule was so ram-packed, but she did bring to light a few things from her perspective. One was like the depression and the kind of the loneliness of the game, which is always out in and out of countries, and she found it quite isolated just doing her. Is that something that you've encountered, or do you know what I mean? Because you're here, there, everywhere.
No, I think Michelle is a much more family-oriented person.
Right.
So she probably misses home.
Yeah, right.
My home has been on the road so much that it's the only way I really know how to live. So
Right.
I'm not missing something that's rooted somewhere particular. Obviously, I have loved ones. I'm my mother, clearly. But I am not, I think, suffering in the way that she might be. I don't know. This is what you said.
Yeah.
But that's really not a thing for me.
And she did speak from a female perspective that sexual harassment is a thing in boxing. I don't know if you can pass a comment. She said like it's there and it's kind of there, but if you talk about it, you're out. Like you can't really say much.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Sadly, I've never been sexually harassed.
That's it, sadly.
But I didn't.
But can you understand how different-
I would like to say that while I will not, in any form, fashion, accept inappropriate advances,
Yeah.
I would like to know that the desire exists. I would like to know
I'm gonna
that
take your word
people
for
have
it.
somehow restrained themselves, but have wanted to harass me. Because let me tell you what, the problem for me is that my fan base, my core, my real ardent fans, are all fucking knuckleheaded guys. So that might be part of the reason. Like I don't think
Yeah.
they want me in that regard. So maybe my experience with fans and people in boxing alike differ from hers because we are vastly
that's what I mean.
different people.
Can we see it from her point of view though? So many men, testosterone.
Well, of course,
and then,
listen, we can't see it from her
Right.
point of
Can
view.
we
We have
try
to
to?
accept her point of view as she presents it.
Right.
If she says this is what she's experienced, then that's enough. I can't see it from her perspective because I would have to have been able to be in her position to see it, which I've clearly never been. And I'm being a little tongue-in-cheek about, not having been sexually harassed, but obviously that's joking.
Yeah.
In the reality, she's got her own story to tell,
Yeah.
and her perspective and her experience is hers alone. And that's probably part of maybe the loneliness. I don't know. How can I speak on that?
No, sure.
But I will tell you one thing. I certainly believe her if she says that's the case. And I can't imagine what that's like because I've never experienced anything like that.
So do you not want to settle down at some point? Are you happy just doing the cane from Kung Fu? Because this is very apt, bruv. Wearing the gi actually makes sense. You are searching for adventure.
I don't
Do you ever
want to be
wanna stop?
sedentary. That doesn't mean by your definition of settle down. Maybe that means marriage. Maybe that means a child. I don't know what you mean by settle down. I just am unwilling to settle. But that doesn't mean anything to do with what my personal life might develop into.
Right.
But then you find ways to continue to pursue your passion. You create a life that you want. And so the fact that I'm on the road or moving from fight to fight doesn't necessarily mean that I don't have a personal life or I'm not grounded. It's just the way that I pursue life. and I am grounded in that.
Is it kind of hard to juggle being here, there, and everywhere?
It's hard to juggle because I really don't have the dexterity for 3 items in the air at the same time.
6'7", folks, 6'7".
You know what I mean?
Right.
See, you're a
6'7"
little young.
is a
It's
thing.
6'7", right? That is a thing where you're gonna clip that out for TikTok or something.
I have a child, so it's 6'7".
Yeah, but you should let the child do that.
No,
You shouldn't be saying 6'7", mate. Honestly.
Anyway, okay, so to kind of balance it, do you feel like you're spinning plates and you're just waiting, you're trying to keep everything?
No, I'm trying to get some food on my plate.
I will give you food.
You know what I mean?
Relax, bro.
And if I do that,
wanna eat on
I'm
the
happy
rugby
to
show?
share. No, it's not down to you to feed me. Like, I don't even know what might be in the food. Like, I gotta have
it's
you
proper
taste
things,
it
proper things,
first,
bro. Proper
watch it
things.
for 30 minutes,
Wow.
see if
30
that's
fucking
okay.
minutes. I ain't got that time, bro. Eat,
You know what I
eat and fuck
mean?
off, you guys.
I just, it's a wild world out there. I don't know what you're into. So what I'm saying is that I do not feel this loneliness
Right.
or insecurity or juggling. I'm just living, and I've had the great joy and privilege of being able to design the life I want to live. So it ain't a problem for me. If it were, I'd just change it.
What's been the best fights you've seen in the past few years? Which
I mean, we mentioned the Wilder Fury. That
Yeah.
is certainly top shelf out there. Again, I enjoy. I don't know, man. These questions like that are difficult for me to answer because I really, and this isn't a dodge, but the reason I have a hard time recalling is because part of what I like to do in life in general, but definitely in boxing, is I go from focus to focus. I'm not that focused on
you
the
don't look
last
back.
fights. Like, if I reflected, it would take me longer than we want to sit here and watch me ponder.
Right.
But of course, it's in there. But it's not something that's at the top of. If I'm talking to Joshua, then in my mind will be his fights and things that are relative to him. If I'm talking to Crawford, then those things will come to the surface. That's one of the fights I really enjoyed, Crawford, Canelo.
Right.
But in general, I'm not one of these people that's just constantly thinking about other fights. And it really is relative to the moment I'm in. So when a broad question is asked like that, there's so much swimming around in there. I have to keep talking and thinking to come up with ones. But that's another one, like I said, Crawford Canelo was fantastic. I really liked, like I said, Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes, deep undercard of the main card. In Saudi just a couple of weeks ago, but I think that was a cracking fight. I think that is one of the superstars of tomorrow that we're looking at today. I really enjoy Abdullah Mason and the talent. I like his attitude. I love the family and like that he brings. I think that will be a superstar one day. And for Sam Noakes, he is a tough competitor, exciting fighter. He pressed Abdullah. And I think any card you put that guy on, people will happily watch. I enjoyed that fight quite a bit. One of my favorites, again, now that I'm talking and thinking about it, Rios Alvarado 1 in StubHub in Los Angeles. One of my favorite all-time fights to be present for also.
Do you need to do research now, or are you just so in it? You're cool.
No,
now?
you have to do research.
Really?
Like, part of it is the fact that you remember. That's helpful. That you can have some research on hand because you experienced it.
Yeah.
But you got to stay up to the minute. If I'm talking to a fighter and some news has happened in the last 3 hours and I don't bother checking the internet right before we sit down, I might miss the window of asking an incredibly relevant question. So you can't just assume you know everything. You have to constantly stay up to speed and look for things that other people maybe are not focusing on or missing. Because there's a lot of interviews by the variety of people of the same person.
Yeah.
So if you want to stand out, if you want to be seen, if you don't want to ask the same questions that have been asked, then you have to do some homework.
And then kind of finding a balance between sides, has that ever been an issue for you? Like you, deep down, you want someone to win over the other? Or,
No, my objective is for both sides to be a little upset with me.
Oh, okay.
And if that's the
your
case, then you're
objective.
doing your job correctly.
Okay. But that's like a dangerous line to walk because you can just get...
Yeah, that's what we talked about earlier.
But
it's
is that because you're cemented now? You can afford to do that?
That's because it's the tight rope I'm willing to walk. And sometimes somebody knocks you off, you got to climb the tree up again and get back on the tightrope. But that's what makes it fun.
And then kind of going forward, we've got obviously Jake Paul, AJ. Thoughts on that? Where the fuck has that come from?
I think it came from the Brinks truck that Netflix backed up.
Right. But Jake Paul
Paul's
said he's
house.
making 270 million. Is that an accurate figure? Is that bullshit?
How do I know?
Roughly, what do you think?
I have no idea. I think
Okay,
he's
do you
making
think that's
enough
feasible?
money to pay Joshua enough money
Right.
to have this fight. However much money that is, he's definitely making that.
Right. And as kind of like a true boxing enthusiast, do you find that insulting to kind of the boxing audience, culture?
Not at all. It's a prize fight.
Right. Is it?
And
right.
it's a prize, clearly a massive prize.
Right.
And we're gonna see how good a fight it is.
Right. And what do you see is going to happen in that fight? The same.
I mean,
the
listen,
whole world
if
sees.
anything other than Anthony Joshua absolutely obliterating
Yeah.
Jake Paul happens, anything other than that will have to give all of us in the boxing business pause. If something astronomically inconceivable happens, like Jake Paul finds a way to win this fight, we are all going to have to quit boxing. Fighters, trainers, broadcasters, journalists,
Right.
we all have. Let me tell you what. If he and Jake Paul beats Anthony Joshua, he has beaten us all. Because we've all wasted our entire lives talking about something we know nothing about.
Right.
There is no metric by which anyone can say that Jake Paul should beat Anthony Joshua. And if he does that, then the proof will be that we are all just talking absolute nonsense. And we don't have any idea what we're talking about because boxing doesn't work the way we think it does.
But how much pressure is that for AJ? Because if he
It shouldn't
fucks
be
up,
any
if
pressure.
he fucks up even one, even if he gets rocked a little bit,
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
How much pressure is it on you every morning that the sun will come up?
Zero.
But if it doesn't come up,
But it's
your
not on me.
whole world,
I'm not
your
lifting the
whole
sun up.
worldview is fucked. Right?
Right.
This should be so matter of fact
Right.
that it is like the sun coming up for Anthony Joshua. You say you don't have anything to do with it coming up because it's a fact of life. That's what happens.
Right.
When a guy with the resume that Jake Paul has, the fights that he has fought, and the competition that he has with an opponent like Anthony Joshua and the fights that he's fought and the experience that he has and who he is and just the physical dynamic between the two of them, that's the sun coming up is Jake Paul going down. If that doesn't happen, it is going to be a very, very cold summer because the sun hasn't risen and we will all perish.
Are you going to be there?
No, I'm going to be in Ghana. Ghana is the fight that I am working with Legacy Rise Sports to co-promote with
Oh, you're
Matchroom.
promoting your own fight. Amazing.
So I'm not promoting my own fight. Legacy Rise is promoting the fight. I'm working with them. My experience in Africa, namely Ghana, this year has been life-changing. My first time on the continent ever,
Right.
2025.
Right.
And this time in 2024 or January 2025, I had no idea how I would even get to the continent of Africa or what I would do there, or what the circumstances might be when I arrived. But I knew that that's a place I needed to go. I'm getting late in life to never have been to the continent of Africa. I've been all over the world otherwise. And by this time of this year, with all that has happened between March was when I first went, and now, which is the beginning of December, I've experienced something in that country that has been life-changing. I've been at countless boxing matches around the world, and I literally mean I couldn't count them. And the experience that I had at Bukom Arena in Ghana, the atmosphere, the sheer passion of every single fan, the mentality of the fighters, the environment in the country when the fight is going on is unparalleled.
Right.
It is unique unto itself. It is something that when I experienced it, I said the world needs to see this. And it became part of my mission to bring it to the world in some capacity. How that's going to happen, who's going to pick up the ball, who's going to work with me on doing that, I didn't know, but I knew that it had to be a reality. And from that point on, the guys at Legacy Rise, which is the premier boxing promoter in Ghana, putting on these events back to back, tirelessly developing fighters, gave me an opportunity to work with them and create a moment this summer that unfortunately nobody got to see, but I was there. Spencer Oliver from TalkSport was there.
Is
a
Amir
lot
Khan
of
there? I think
boxing.
Amir Khan was gonna do
Amir
that.
Khan was the co-promotion for that one. And it's sad in the sense that only the people who were there really got to experience it. It was phenomenal. But because of that, and everybody who left there, all these people from around the world, from the UK and America, went home talking about what they've seen, it created so much excitement about the possibility of seeing it that we got a partnership with Matchroom. And now on December 20th, the first global broadcast, Legacy Rise Sports, co-promoting with Matchroom on DAZN, will be seen around the world. And Ghana, I believe, will be the touchstone for a global powerhouse from the continent of Africa that will make its case in boxing for being where big fights can be had. And so there's no place else in the world I'm going to be on December 20th than Accra, Ghana.
So you got in early, basically. You got in the rights early, like Bitcoin early. You invested early.
Yeah, I believe that
You know what I mean?
I
Before the
believe
boom.
that it's in my DNA. And I came home and found something there that has been a part of my life since I was, well, I started boxing training in 5th grade.
Right.
So it made sense that connecting with Legacy Rise Sports, Sharaf Muhammad, the whole team there, the passion they have for the sport, it fit like a glove. There was never a moment when it didn't make sense. And the fact that it's moved so fast and now we're at this level just lets you know the rich nature and value of what happens there. And you'll have an opportunity to see it for the first time in just 19 days.
Is that a conflict being part of the back end of something as opposed to now I'm at the front presenting?
No
and keeping
Diddy.
balance? Man said, no Diddy! But you know, throw the flag. But you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like when you're creating, putting the fights together.
Yeah, in this case, I'm going to present on the show as well. There is a collaboration happening. Right? So there's no conflict or nothing unusual about that. I have a investment in it that I'm transparent about, and I'm not there as a journalist. I'm there as a presenter and working for one of the promotion teams that are putting the show on. So that's just a different role. And in this circumstance, it really is one of the things I believe will be a stellar part of my legacy that I'll cherish forever. The experience I've already had there has been that. This is like a crown jewel and the beginning of something that I think will live beyond all of us.
And what is it with this date? Because Andrew Tate's fighting, I think, the same day or the day before. What the fuck is it?
He's fighting on the same day of Joshua Paul. But in Ghana, we're on the 20th. So we have our own date. We stand alone on the 20th. That'll be the only fight to watch.
Right.
And the day before, in the time zones, I think will make it not conflicting. But it's just the end of the year. Everybody's trying to get their fight in.
Right.
It's just before Christmas, and people are putting their last show up.
So do you not send someone there to kind of represent Seconds Out and kind of cover that?
Seconds Out will be covering Paul, Josh. We got enough people to do that for sure.
Yeah.
I just won't be there.
I'm available, I've got you cut the check, bruv.
Let's see how this show does.
No, it's your best interview ever, bruv. You get what I'm saying?
It's your best interview ever. But that's because of me. But it's also because of you. It's not just me.
It's because of the gi, bro.
You did something.
It's because
of
the gi, bro.
And the first thing that you did was be willing to sit here.
See that?
That really made this whole show set the tone properly. And I'm gracious and grateful that you allowed me to take the pilot's chair for this 7 or 8 hours we've been talking.
It's about 12. Thoughts on kind of Misfits fightings and those type of fights? Are you kind of for it? Do you think it shouldn't be happening?
I very much was involved in the Jake Paul, Logan Paul, KSI, Deji original.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Fight that happened in Manchester when they were amateurs and this whole phenomena came about.
Yeah.
I really am impressed, for lack of a better term. I mean, impressed is an understatement, at where Jake Paul has taken it from there.
Yeah.
What Logan Paul is doing now, superstar in the WWE.
Yeah.
Where KSI created this Misfits boxing. Deji fought Mayweather, blacked his eye. Like, what? Well, I mean, these guys, all 4 of them have taken this shit so far to such great heights that I think maybe it's going to take some time for history even to look back and realize, like, that is really incredible.
Yeah.
And I was a part of that. I was the only journalist of boxing to go there and cover that fight. And, like, it mattered.
Right.
And it did.
Right.
And all of those guys have done something that is you could just never have predicted in Manchester on that night. So I have a ton of respect for them. I enjoy seeing people succeed and take boxing in different directions. I have no problem with crossover fights or any of that. And so I'm not in that space. But the Jake Paul thing, because he is in boxing space, I think more than Misfits. That's now of an offshoot.
Yeah.
I think Deji did his thing. I don't know if he'll be back. And, you know, like I say, Logan is a superstar in WWE. I don't know if we'll see him in a boxing ring traditionally again. And so those stories are just really one of the great things that I've had an opportunity to be a part of. But beyond that, it isn't really relevant to what I'm doing.
But when you see like a Jake fight Tyson, like, how did you feel about that? Because a lot of people were like, what the fuck is this?
I was there.
Right.
It was, you know, I mean, we saw what it was, right? The build-up is one of those things that is just
We got
a
sold more
moment. Like
tickets.
what Jake has been able to create is real big moments.
Right.
And he was incredibly successful at that. He got Netflix in the game in boxing. Now they're staying in the game. We've seen multiple fights on Netflix, that being the first.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to say? Like, he brought in a major entertainment platform that gets tens of millions more views than even the best fight on DAZN could hope for. And regardless of what you think of the matchup, it's good for boxing. And what you're going to see on the 19th of December is also good for Joshua, and it might be the end of Jake Paul forever. We don't know, but the attention of the world, many crossover fans, people who don't know anything about the sport, will be on the sport, and I guarantee you that the sport is so infectious, and it is such a great pursuit of pugilism and athleticism that something that sensational might, in the moment, seem absurd to those of us who are in boxing, but will bring a casual fan to seek out more traditional fights after that.
Right.
So I have no qualms about that fight happening. I think it's all good for boxing, and people find their way to the more traditional sport and the kind of pugilism that we appreciate and are able to have the great privilege of covering on a regular basis. Often, every bit of Netflix being involved is good. Misfits creating their own little space is good. Those kids that come in that way, I believe the ones with real talent, the ones that have true passion, will come through that system and find their way to traditional boxing. People will start boxing at an early age because they're inspired by any number of these things that they saw. And what harm is there in that? I have no problem with it. That's it.
And then kind of like Andrew Tate entering the fold and kind of with like Mams Taylor taking out KSI with this almost WWE-esque
Yeah, so
type
this is what I'm saying. This now has gone past the Rubicon for me. I don't even know what you're talking about. Like I'm like the KSI.
What do you mean, man? You're a boxing
the
pundit. You meant to know.
But that's not a field of boxing that I'm any longer covering. You won't see me at a Misfits fight for what's his name?
Andrew Tate.
Yeah, you won't see me there. So I'm not involved in that. So boxing now is so broad that there are some islands that my boat won't paddle to. That's one of them.
So you won't paddle to Misfits?
No.
Why? You just said it's good for boxing. You
Yeah,
just
but
said it's good.
I don't have to be everywhere. Do I have to be everywhere?
No, well, but the way you're...
Now it's up to you to paddle out to Misfits, because clearly this is something that you're well read on or you know about.
I'm just
so
well read in
it's
general.
down to you now to find that island, and you now have to do the service for the boxing fans, because I started there.
If you cut
I
that check,
created content that helped
the baton.
all four of those guys.
Give me the baton. I'll
You've
run
got it. I don't even have it. I mean, you brought it. You pulled it out of your pocket and asked me to give it to you.
But
I did my part. I went to Manchester when nobody was in boxing was giving any of those guys any attention. 35 million views later, while everybody was paying attention to Mayweather and McGregor, I was in Manchester with some YouTubers that decided to fight each other to settle their beefs. And that became me hosting in Staples Center, where the Lakers play, to a packed out Staples Center. Logan Paul and KSI, their first professional fight. I'm at the center of it. And that's down to me going to DAZN and telling them what I just seen in Manchester, and them getting it on board with putting that fight together, which is why I was at the center of it. Have I not done enough? Can you not now swim out to just one island and do something?
I'll swim.
Okay.
But you know when you put that together, you're in the middle of it. Do you not feel like I need a cut of this check, man? I've made this shit happen. I've helped do this. How frustrated are these motherfuckers making millions all around you? Look right, millionaire. Even the people in the background, in the suits, millionaire. Do you know? And you're in the middle with the fucking light. Do you not think, yo, motherfuckers?
You're not wrong. I like you putting that in the universe.
Yeah.
Echo it. Anybody else who agrees, I think, echo that. Bring that kind of focus and energy so that it attracts what I deserve. I just want what is rightfully mine or what is meant for me.
Right.
So,
but rightfully yours and meant for you are two different things.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, maybe they aren't.
You know what I mean?
Maybe I will get what's rightfully mine because it's meant for me.
Okay. But you don't feel no certain way. Like, yo.
Nope.
Okay. And then just earlier, you're kind of alluding to the fact that you're not covering Misfits forever. Or is it just this event? Like
No. I'm just. That's not a space that I'm in. You need to know those guys. I'm not following all the narratives. Them. No, I only know the guys that I mentioned, and they're not involved in Misfits anymore. You don't see Logan Paul fighting Misfits. Jake Paul's not fighting Misfits. KSI is not even fighting Misfits anymore. Deji is not fighting Misfits, and if he is, I'm not following him anymore.
Right.
So what the fuck do I have to do with Misfits? I would have to learn a whole nother host of guys. Like, for instance, Logan Paul is a WWE superstar.
Yes.
Okay? I covered WWE when he just first started doing WWE because I know Logan Paul.
Right.
But at some stage, very quickly in fact, his stardom rose to a level where I need to actually cover the whole of WWE to sufficiently cover Logan Paul.
Right.
I was unwilling to create space in my life and mind to understand all of the narratives and mechanisms of WWE to stay in that space. It's the same thing with Misfits. I'm just not in that space. I've decided where my attention will go, and that's not one place that it's at. And the people who initially brought me there, which is KSI, I covered for a while he was involved. The last fight that he did, or press conference for, I was there. But now he's out. And so what's there for me? I don't know any of these other guys. I'm not in that space. They have a whole universe unto themselves. And these are not people I'm following. So it wouldn't be right for the audience to watch me cover a community that I'm not up to speed on.
I don't think it would take you long to get up to speed.
I think it would take you much less time because you have so much more time in your life.
I'm a busy bee,
Clearly,
you know.
You're not really. 'Cause we've been sitting here for so long.
I am.
Like,
listening to you.
I think that this moment that we shared for the 9 or 10 hours that we've been sitting here
30 now.
were meant to inspire you to do more.
Absolutely.
Because you should have ended this interview so long ago.
Do you know what I think?
I am incredibly engaging. I know how much you're enjoying it.
Oh, I'm loving it.
I love the sound of my own voice, so this will never stop.
Yeah.
But the fact that you have enough
I'm gonna have to
time to
bring it
sit
to
here
an
and
end
listen to
soon.
me just go on really dictates to me that it's time for you to paddle your boat out to an island and start covering a side of boxing that maybe needs your help. That might be Misfits.
I think after 14 hours, I've come to the conclusion. I need a gi as well. Fuck it.
You'll have
Brixton
to.
Street,
You don't just get a
I
gi.
need a gi.
Have you
What do you
never
mean?
seen?
What do you mean?
Have you never seen a kung fu movie? You must come to the dojo.
You're
and
in the
earn
fucking
that gi.
dojo.
No,
You are in the dojo of dojos.
I am the dojo.
You are in the
only
dojo.
reason this is a dojo
You are
is
in
because
Cobra
a
Kai HQ.
master is in it. You
You are in
understand?
Pai May's home. This is it.
Shizzio,
He's thinking who's Pai
don't
May?
make me sweep the leg.
Listen, I heard you on Joe Rogan recently saying that you would get drunk and go to sparring on some Van Damme kickboxer shit.
Yeah.
This is what you was really doing?
Yeah.
Why the fuck was you doing that?
Because
You get drunk and then go and spar. That's some
because
like,
I've never
that's
thought
some
myself
UK
on
thuggery
a
shit, though.
track of being a professional athlete. So I'm not going to have a boxing match.
Right.
The only time I'm going to use any of this training is in a bar when I'm drunk, or in the parking lot after I've left the bar drunk.
I hear it.
Or in the street when who knows what people are on or how inebriated or sleepy you are.
Right.
That's what I'm training for.
Right.
So
hear
that's
it, though.
when I need to start sparring. Like, what good am I if I'm fully clean? I've been training for 8 weeks to get into a boxing match, to get into a ring where there's a referee and all these rules. That shit is never going to happen because I'm not pursuing that life. What I am doing is walking the streets like Kane in Kung Fu, and I may encounter anything at any time in any frame of mind.
I feel
so
it.
at any moment, I need to be prepared to be like water.
Unagi.
Unagi.
Talking about Joe Rogan, how is that going on a show like that? A very big show, do you know what I mean? Come on, Joe's massive. Like that must be lovely, do you know what I mean? And you've been there a few times.
He gave me an opportunity to tell that Wilder story to a massive audience. I'll never, ever not be grateful for that. He's a great friend, able to give me a platform when Wilder was all over the place. His minute video on Instagram was the narrative that was cemented, and I had an opportunity to tell my story and counter that narrative, and he definitely made me a bigger star, gave me more attention. People are impressed that I was on Rogan twice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that is a great experience. Very few people get, and he offered me that platform twice, and I'm forever grateful for that.
And then you spoke about comedy, how you love comedy, friends with Dave Chappelle. Can we just shine a light on that? How did that come about?
I see comedy not unlike boxing. There's a one man on the stage, and he may not be battling the audience, but he's battling his own demons.
Right.
There is a fight inside every individual, and that is a podcast that I actually created during COVID in Yellow Springs, Ohio, at Dave Chappelle's comedy compound of the time, where I realized that all of these incredibly accomplished people who had fought to be who they are and to get where they are were also fighters. They're not boxers, but they're fighters. And it was really, believe it or not, the first time in my life I realized that you don't have to be a boxer to be a fighter, and there is a fight inside everybody. And so I asked those individuals that I did have the great pleasure and honor of having on my show what and who the opponent is as they define it in their life. And that was the jump off point. And so for each conversation I had, I spoke about that element of their life as I would speak about an opponent for a fighter. And we went through how they fought that opponent, how they bested it, and how it got them to where they are, or if they're still fighting that opponent as they define it. And there were some of the greatest conversations I've ever had. That is because some of those people were comedians, some of those people politicians, some of those people athletes, some of those people musicians, all having experienced combat in a way that gave them the resolve and in the experience of overcoming adversity to achieve. And that's what boxers are doing. So comedy is a real different way of looking at the world and offering your perspective when you're standing alone on a stage, very vulnerable. You have to find a way to have the confidence to put your perspective out and to be the subject of ridicule, potentially of the room or the world. And so I respect that. I've learned a lot about comedy, and it fascinates me, that life and that type of art form. So comedians are, I think, also my clan. They're also my kind of people, and I like being around them, and I had the opportunity to be, and again, just another great experience in life.
Who's the top 3 stand-ups of all time?
You would have to answer that for yourself, because let me tell you why, though. It's not, in a way, it's not unlike boxing. You can go statistics, you can go style, you can go what you most enjoy. So I can't answer that question for you. I can't answer that question for you. I can only answer it for me.
Yeah.
My favorites of all time are Dave Chappelle, George Carlin, and Sam Kinison. Now, Sam Kinison is a real special pick because he's kind of like, it's like if you pick Biggie as your favorite rapper, he really didn't live long enough to go through all of the different phases that I believe he may have gone through in life that might have changed his comedy. So he was like really a moment in comedy, and it might seem very one-dimensional because he did this one thing but so well. And also just the time of my life when I encountered that, you know, I was impressionable, I was young, it was fucking like, oh, this guy is screaming and crazy shit, and this was like one of those things that happen early in life when you're a kid that is just like, you bring up your buddies like, have you heard this shit? You know what I mean? So it also matters when something reaches you. So Sam Kinison, you know, I think would be that third pick, where probably doesn't make a lot of people's top 3. Now, with that said, that's for me. there's Robin Williams.
Oh, of course,
you understand?
there's
There's Robin Harris. Obviously, there are comedians from a time even earlier than that. Like, you can't just say these are the best three. You can only say that these are the ones who maybe made the most impact on you, or that have really spoken to you from a perspective that might have changed how you see things. For me, you know, Dave Chappelle is just the top of the list, no question. Everybody's got their own list, but the perspective that he put forward, the Chappelle show is like, I think, a pivotal moment in sketch comedy.
Absolutely.
The stand-up work that he's done subsequently after that and before that, like, you can't, for me, really call a name that has been more impactful. So that's got to be top of the list. George Carlin, the way he was able to frame politics and particularly a view of America, government. He went through the hippie phase. He was a stoner. And he got to live a long time and give many perspectives. And I enjoy the precision of his words, the rhythm of his cadence, the fact that he doesn't stumble from start to finish. It is a masterpiece of expression, and the thoughts that he put forward make you think while laughing. And I'm able to go through different eras of American history and experience and follow his comedy and his evolution. So that, again, really has the kind of body of work, again, like a Chappelle has now a long enough body of work to where you can just say that at any stage they're offering something unique and valuable to the craft. And then there is the guys like Sam Kinison who really didn't have that stretch of history, but for me was so impactful in a very specific time that I got to put him right there up top with the best.
Do you notice a difference between American comedy and British humor, like the humor?
Sure, it's like boxing. There's styles. There are certain things that speak to different communities. People hear things
There's
differently.
Lee Evans over here. Check him out.
Right.
Goat.
There's like, you know, so something like you say Lee Evans and then you're just shouting GOAT, right? That
I didn't shout it,
sounds crazy to me.
Why?
'Cause it was so loud.
wasn't.
It really, because when you're like wrong,
I'm not
it's
wrong.
loud.
Lee Evans is a
You know what I'm saying?
What's the comments, bro?
It sounds
Hey, he's dissing
really
Lee Evans.
loud.
He's dissing Lee Evans.
Now listen,
Listen.
I'm really winding you up a little bit because remember what I said at first. If he's a GOAT for you, then he's the GOAT
I hate you.
for you.
I hate you.
It doesn't matter that you're wrong. It just matters that you believe it.
I hate you. I'm going to ask you some questions from AI and then we're done. Right. Last bit and we're done. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I've had enough.
Are you sure? How long has it been?
7 hours. It took you 3 hours just to take a piss.
Right. Yeah, it's because I was holding it in for so fucking long.
I thought I took the piss out of you, but you still had some left.
Right, listen. AI questions and then we're done. Where the fuck is it?
Oh my God.
Right, you ready? You've interviewed every major fighter of this era. Who gave you the most honest answer and who gave you the most fake one?
See, sadly, it would take me some time to think about. Ask me the question again.
You've interviewed every major fighter of this era. Who gave you the most honest answer and who gave you the most fake one?
I think Victor Ortiz gave me one of the most honest answers.
Yeah.
In that he was trying to break Floyd Mayweather's nose. And the fakest answer might have been Deontay Wilder when he responded to a question as if I didn't know what he was talking about when we discussed it before.
What's one question you've asked that you've instantly regretted and why?
What?
What's one question you've asked that you've instantly regretted and why?
The address for this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like that, yeah? Okay, Bob, you're pulling out the knives. All right, cool. Behind the scene, which superstar boxer is completely different from their public persona? That could be in a good or bad way.
I don't know many boxers.
I silenced him. Fucking hell.
Outside of no, it's true because I would have to know them
Right.
outside of boxing well enough to say that
Yeah.
they're public persona is vastly different than who they are.
Yeah.
And because I don't make personal friends with fighters,
Okay.
I don't really know who they are at home.
Okay. Why don't
I
you make
try
a-
to get at it, but I don't know. I can't be like, oh, well, this is what we're like when we're sitting around watching TV or on
Right.
a road trip, and this is what it's like when he's in front of the cameras. I only really know them when they're on.
When you say you don't make friends with them, is that a conscious choice or is that just how it
You
happens?
have to be. I can't make friends with active fighters. It immediately creates a conflict or eventually creates a conflict.
Right.
If you're going to do the job honestly. You know, listen, there have been some that have naturally become more friendly, but I do my best to keep some kind of professional distance. And most of the time it doesn't really go there. Now, retired fighters, I've found, you know, good friendly relationships with for sure, because once their career is done, then I'm more open to that. But an
there's
honest
no after
answer
parties?
is I couldn't say. No, I don't go to fighters after parties. I don't hang out with them. None of that. So I would only be speculating on who might be. You know, I think maybe, again, it's entire speculation. I certainly didn't know him at the time, but I think Mike Tyson at his prime was probably very different at home than people saw him in the ring.
Right. Do you feel fighters trust you or fear you because of how direct you are?
No, I think they trust me, which is why I can be as direct as I am. And often they may fear the perception of themselves being misconstrued. So they want to be seen in the light that they want to be seen. So there may be some jeopardy in the interview if they think I'm, you know, catching them with a clever question or trying to get out of them what they're trying to hold back. So there's a cat and mouse there to some degree, but I think it's respectful. And I think because there's a trust that I'm not trying to make anybody look bad, we can get in these moments where they're real.
What's the biggest lie fighters tell on camera that fans always believe?
I'll fight anybody.
Okay, you genuinely think that, okay. That's a good answer. Is there a moment you wish you never aired because the reaction was too big or too damaging?
Nope.
We've done all that. What's the story behind the Wilder to this day? Well, we've done that. Have you ever been blacklisted or wronged by a promoter for asking the wrong questions? You said,
Every single one.
Which interview made you genuinely uncomfortable, and why didn't you walk away?
Which interview made me genuinely uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Ricardo Mayorga. I didn't walk away because he walked out of the interview.
Right. What do you say to him? You piss him off?
Yeah, on purpose. That was the only interview I ever went into with the intention of fucking somebody up.
Why?
Because he's such a piece of shit.
Why?
So I was like, you know what? This guy's, I'm going to get it.
Why, though?
He's going to get it.
Don't you have to keep that professional balance?
You normally do, but in this case, I was like,
Yeah, but what was the
I'm gonna get after
trigger?
this
Why?
guy. I just didn't respect the way he approached the sport, the way he treated other fighters, his whole
Okay.
fucking shtick to me was disgusting, and I went after him, and he was super pissed. But he just stormed out of the interview, flipped the table, and I was satisfied, and that was the last time
It was
we
like,
spoke.
yeah, viral tick. Do you think the boxing media protects certain fighters or promoters? What's the one thing fans don't realize about boxing politics?
I think we spoke about that
Yeah,
earlier.
I think this was. What's the harshest truth you've learned about the boxing industry?
The harshest truth. That they don't care about you after the final bell rings.
If all cameras were off, which fighter would really shock the world with who they really are?
I have no idea.
Who's the one person in boxing you feel has unfinished business with you?
With me?
Yeah.
You. Are we finished yet?
No. We're going to fight on Misfits. Yo! Would you ever fight on Misfits?
No.
Okay. Not me, I'm just saying that. I'm cool. Have you ever feared a fighter was about to swing you mid-interview?
Yeah.
Who?
I mean, pick them. Ricardo Mayorga, Deontay Wilder.
Did you think Wilder
Tyson
was...
Fury. You know, I pissed off a lot of people in the moment.
Right.
But, you know, we got there in the end.
Do you kind of turn that screw on purpose, knowing?
Well, no, I might turn a screw so that I can unlock a cabinet that has been guarded.
Yeah, when you turn
Very,
the screw, you go
very-
anti-clockwise, not clockwise. You're trying to fucking go deeper, bro.
No. I'm just trying to unearth something that may have been stowed away. And there's an uncomfortable creaking when the chest opens. And sometimes, you know, it can be triggering.
What's the most misunderstood thing about Radio Rahim that you would like to set straight?
That I really passionately care about what you think my objective is. I don't care if you misunderstand what I'm doing. If you consume the content, watch the work, and then ascribe to me nefarious intention, or you think I'm an Uncle Tom, or you think I'm on this guy's side or that guy's side, that doesn't dissuade me or trouble me in the least. What matters to me is that you're consuming it, and then I trust you that ultimately you'll find your way to what's valuable about the content. And regardless to how you perceive me, if the work is done properly, at some point you should understand, oh, this is actually about the fighter, and he's doing a service to illuminate things that may otherwise go unseen. And whatever is necessary for me to do that is what I'll do to get the job done. The way you may view me personally, I don't take personally.
I hear you. In your private opinion, who's the most skilled boxer you've ever seen?
Skilled.
Yes.
Ever seen?
Yes. Not the
Roy
most famous.
Jones Jr.
Yeah. If your career ended today, what's the one legacy clip you'd want people to remember you by? Not the one that would...
This podcast.
I don't know if you're telling the truth or not, bro, but I'm telling you it's the truth, brother.
Listen, I believe in you, man. This thing is going to hit, and we're both going to really
We gone.
look back on this as our peak.
You've been accused of sliding with certain fighters or promoters.
I've been accused of what?
It says here you've been accused of siding with certain fighters or promoters. Who do people...
Who wrote that?
Chat. Look.
Is that what chat says?
Read
That
to the
I've
top
been
there.
accused of siding with...
That's what it says. All right, we swear it.
Okay.
Fuck
Go
that,
on.
fuck
Go
that,
on,
man.
then.
Who do people think you're biased towards, and who do you secretly think deserves more criticism? It's a shit question.
The other guy.
Fuck.
Everybody thinks I'm biased for the other guy.
Has any fighter or promoter ever tried to pay you, pressure you, or threaten you to shape an interview?
No, I wouldn't. Like, pay me. No, that'd be nice.
Have they, like,
No,
indirectly?
they've certainly tried. They try to intimidate you, soft soap, like, you know what I mean? You know what they want, and they might give you more access if they get it, and they may give you less access if they don't. There's definitely ways to apply pressure on what you're meant to get into or not. Certainly there have been times when promoters or PR people are like, stay away from this, don't talk that, and you got to make a decision in the moment whether or not you're going to follow that dictate or not.
What do you usually do?
If I was meant to ask the question, I'd just fucking ask it, or I'll find a way to do it that maybe I can get by without pissing them off too much, but still get it in.
Right.
And if I wasn't gonna ask it anyway, then I act like I've capitulated so I can live to fight another day and feel like I've done them a favor.
Boxing fans say media platforms protect certain stars. Who's the most protected fighter in the sport right now?
Protected?
Yeah, I don't know what that. Which huge interview do you think another boxing channel completely fumbled? Oh, fuck off, man. The fuck, man?
We don't know.
Get me on point,
Listen,
bro. How
listen,
you mean, bro?
Just at the beginning, but I think you've gotten better of what's going on.
What the hell I do at the beginning? You stole my damn chair, bro. You're sitting on my cushion, for
You
fuck's
see what I
sake.
mean? That's the part. But we got past it in the end, so we've watched you evolve. You were
evolved.
not as good at the beginning as you are now, and we're proud of you, and that's what I really want to say.
It's the growth, but that's
It's
the main
growth,
thing. The
and
growth,
that's what
it's
it
the journey.
is,
Life's
right?
like the journey, baby.
We are on a journey
Li-
together.
Life is on the
We
back.
started with you being shit, and now we've peaked.
Started from the bottom, now
Now
we're
we're
here. You and Wilder went viral. Did he ever confront you privately about how that moment made him look?
Yeah.
What do you say? Yo, brother,
It was
you
private.
done made me that. You know what I mean? You done.
And
broke
that's
off
what
my-
I would have liked for
you-
him to have
you
said.
broke off my bread, but you can just stay over there.
Yeah.
What's the biggest thing boxing fans would be shocked to know about AJ Fury or Canelo behind the scenes?
They haven't paid me a nickel personally.
Have you ever deliberately asked a question to push a fighter's button to create a viral moment?
Yeah, Ricardo Mayorga. Not to create a viral moment, but to create a moment.
What's the dirtiest trick you've seen a promoter pull that fans never found out about?
I don't think I've seen anything, a dirty trick a promoter pulled. Yeah, I don't have anything on top of my head.
If you had to expose one major corruption issue in boxing, what would that be? Yeah, shit. 30 quick fire questions and we're done.
If I had to expose one, say that again?
If you had to expose one major corruption issue in boxing, what would it be? Question 10.
If I had to expose it,
You wouldn't.
I wouldn't do it here. I would like.
Why not? It's the fucking greatest platform you've ever had. Are you crazy?
No,
this is
see, that's
this
the
is
thing.
like your Everest
If I
moment.
had to expose it, I would go before Congress and sit there in front of the nation and bring to light the very determining factor as to whether this type of corruption could go on.
Okay.
I think the last time we saw something like that was the Muhammad Ali Act.
Right.
And I would hope that in the coming days, months, and years, that act will be respected, and what is coming into boxing now, which is a option to fight outside the Muhammad Ali Act, will hopefully also be good for fighters. But if it isn't, that someone will stand up and speak to the corruption as it is. We don't know. I like there being alternatives. I like there being something to keep both entities honest.
Yeah.
But the question is, will anybody be the arbiter of that honesty? Will anybody stand up against what is becoming a massive machine in boxing? And if it is in fact corrupt, or if it is something that disadvantages the fighters and puts them up against an impossible challenge to fight for their own rights, money, and dues, that there will be someone or some system in place that can represent them against what I think is coming, which is a machine that is just going to be bigger than any individual fighter. So I don't know of any corruption in the moment that I could expose, but I hope that we all keep a very watchful eye going forward as boxing consolidates to make sure that if there is corruption, that it will be exposed by those who do witness it.
How's Trump, by the way? How's Trump doing over there in America? Your views on?
I don't know. I'm over here with you, mate.
Come on, Bob. He's American. Is he doing a good job? Is he fucking out? What's he doing?
Listen, I am here.
Yeah, but you're.
But I'm an
you
American.
live over there.
Listen to what I'm saying. I am here.
Right.
Take from that what you will.
Okay, 30 quick fire questions and we're done. Favorite interview you've ever done?
Mate, you gotta be joking. Like, are you just, like, literally, can you use some selection?
What?
You're now
What's your
asking
favorite
me
interview?
questions that I've already answered, and you don't even realize that these are repetitive.
Okay, motherfucker.
You know what I mean? Like, when I told you we peaked, that's when you should have ended the show. Now you're headed down the other side of the hill. And I'm disappointed, because now you're not even paying attention, honestly.
I'll fuck it off.
Honestly.
I don't care,
You
bro.
just, you were doing well.
Is there any last thing you'd like to add, sir?
I really enjoyed this. Like, we had
I
a good
did, you
time. It
for
was
real.
very fun. Yeah, it was a good
Are
time.
you sure?
Yeah, I am. It's
Are
good.
you sure?
It's fun. And you know what I mean? I do enjoy a lot of shows, but you have a good, you're good-natured. You're able to
Thank you, sir.
go back and forth. And while I don't know whether it's you or AI that knows boxing, at least some of these questions were decent.
Someone knows, innit?
The ones that you asked 2 or 3 times, not the best.
Just the one. 'Cause that's the only word that I could get in. But I got it in.
Well, the thing about you is that you don't need to say much. I clearly carried you.
It's just the charismatic nature
But
of
the
me.
idea that I carried you as long as you did, like, when people watch this interview, they'll only see one set of footprints.
Yeah.
That's because I'm carrying you.
No,
but
it's
the
not.
audacity that you have to then ask me a repetitive question, and
Because it's fucking me 13 hours.
I had to.
What do you want me to do?
I had to point it out to you because my inclination is just to answer the question again because it gives me more opportunity to hear my own voice.
Yeah.
But for the good of the show, I decided to not do that.
Side note,
And mention to you
that's absolutely fine.
how much joy
Side
this
note,
experience brought
It's
me.
my marvelous aura that's lifted you to actually do this. So
No, it's what brought me here in the first place.
exactly.
You attracted from the universe the best. And here we are now, you sitting with the best, doing your best.
I'm sitting with myself, yeah.
Well,
feel you.
yeah, you are, which means that
Anyway.
you have a little
Fucking hell, this
bit
guy.
of extra room to improve,
Right.
but you've made up some ground, and that's the growth. That's why we're here. And one day, you will be accepted into the dojo as a young Padawan.
Yes. Yes,
You
I
will
be
find
a
your way
Padawan
to
learner.
mastery.
I would like to be. Mr. Yoda, sir, it's been an absolute pleasure, sir. Thank you for your time. God bless you. You have an amazing energy about you. Honestly, no, you really do. It's great.
It's fun.
Long may
It's
that
fun.
continue.
Do I get to sign this wall?
You
Because
don't
I'm
get to
finding it
sign
to be a
shit. Get
great
the fuck
honor.
out of my house, motherfucker. Radio Rahim, peace.